Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we're going to be watching a preliminary hearing that happened in the Rebekah Baptiste case. This took place on September 4th of 2025, and Rebekah's father and the father's girlfriend had this preliminary hearing. And long story short, the judge decided there was probable cause to take this case forward. They were then both arraigned as well after that, which I believe was yesterday. And so we're going to be watching all of this because there's a lot of evidence that they shared compared to what I was able to share in part one. So my first question is, if you're watching live with me, did you do your homework? Do you see the pinned comment? It says case prep. Okay, so that is a deep dive of this case that I've already done, and I really hope you'll check it out. Otherwise, you might feel a little lost, Meaning, stay here if you're live with me now, but please do your homework afterwards and check out part one because it'll give you a full timeline, the body cam, and things that they're actually referencing in this preliminary hearing. Now, if you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Please check if your like button is working, everyone, whether you're watching live or the replay, and if you can share as well. If you're watching the replay, just look in the description box. There it will say part one, okay? And then you can do homework on the deep dive over there. But I will give you a very quick recap before we dive into this preliminary hearing so that you at least just know what the heck are we talking about, okay? So let me just quickly read you my little recap here before we get started. So on July 30th of 2025, 10-year-old Rebekah Baptiste, pictured over there, died in Arizona from injuries consistent with prolonged physical and sexual abuse. So this case absolutely comes with a trigger warning. Her father, Richard Daniel Baptiste, 32, and his girlfriend, Anicia Woods, 29, were arrested and charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, multiple counts of child abuse, and now 2 new charges have been added for molestation. So just when you thought, if you watch part one, that it can't get worse, it can. It got much worse. So Rebekah lived with her father, Richard, with her father, right, Richard Baptiste and Anicia Woods, and also her 2 younger brothers in a remote yurt-style tent on River Meadows Ranch in rural Apache County near Holbrook. This case takes place in Arizona. The family had relocated from Phoenix in June of 2025, so they hadn't been there for long. 3 weeks or so that they relocated, and they were living in this yurt. Shortly after Richard had regained custody of the children, Rebekah's mother had her parental rights terminated years earlier due to neglect and substance issues. In Phoenix, the family had resided in an apartment complex, and Rebekah attended Empower College Prep, where teachers noted how very clever she was. She was bright, she was determined, she did well at school, but yet there were over 12 reports to the Department of CPS, right? So DCS and CPS, Child Protective Services, 12. Over 12 reports. And so this case is absolutely outrageous because this could have been prevented. So the school noticed she had bruises, scratches, marks on her hands and feet, complaints of hunger and harsh punishments that neighbors had also noticed, forced running laps barefoot without a water bottle or any water at all, bathroom breaks and holding planks for extended periods. So you will hear more about this in this preliminary hearing today. Phoenix police interacted with the family 5 times at least, including on April of 2025, where officers observed Rebekah with a black eye, but they found no direct indication of abuse, closing the case without action. DCS investigated multiple reports but deemed most unsubstantiated. It really makes you angry when you hear about this all, in hindsight. I know hindsight's 2020, but There were a lot of signs, citing insufficient evidence for removal. And so it went on. So she has been abused terribly. And then on July 27th of 2025, her dad and the dad's girlfriend, it was actually the dad's girlfriend that called 911 3 times, and they claimed that Rebekah had run away that morning, a pattern that she had exhibited in the weeks leading up to this incident. And they found her unresponsive. They actually said a neighbor found her unresponsive in a wash there in Arizona on the side of the highway on State Route 77 and US Highway 180. But the thing is, her clothing had been changed. Like, this is a stepmother from hell. This is like, it reminds me of Letitia Stauch, you know, from the Gannon Stauch case. Because this stepmother, according to the brothers as well, inflicted so much abuse on all of them, but especially Rebekah. For her to call 911, for her to be a former registered nurse, for her to say, yes, unfortunately, I do know how to do CPR. You can watch part 1, the body cam's in there. Her tone, everything about it, knowing that she changed Rebekah's clothes, allegedly she changed Rebekah's clothes before plausibly a body was placed there by them. That's the only thing that makes sense. Neighbors said they didn't find her there. They interviewed all the neighbors. So this is really, really bad. That was on July 27th of 2025. 3 days later, Rebekah died. And she was only 10 years old. Her brothers are now in CPS custody. I do this face because I'm like, I hope they're going to be okay, because I'm not impressed with CPS in this case. It's really, really terrible, right? Like, what the heck was going on here? And so, as I said in the beginning, Richard, her dad, and the girlfriend, the stepmother, Anicia Woods, were arrested on July 27th, the same day that they called 911, and they were charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, 3 counts of child abuse, and now 2 counts of molestation. So, that's where we're at, okay? Now, let me bring up my defluffed. I'm proud of this, okay, because I saved us about an hour of time. I've been sitting defluffing this today, which by that I mean, if you're new here, I went in and I took out all the fluff, meaning all the silent parts, the flapping of papers, the parts we can't really hear. And so the original hearing was almost 3 hours long, and now it is 1 hour 53 minutes. Okay, so we'll be here for a little while. I just wanted to do that brief little overview so that at least you know, if you didn't do your homework, what we're talking about. So the main witness here is Detective Kole Soderquist. I hope that's how you say it. He did say it himself, but I'm like, Soderquist? Anyway, and he's the main witness of the day and telling us all the things that, they'd investigated and found in this horrifying case. So are we ready, everyone? Let me know. I will put this up here for you so that you can see. There's the text, and let me just move this here so that you know this is the preliminary hearing from September 4th of 2025. Rebekah actually died on she was found on July 30th, unresponsive, and July 27th, found unresponsive, and she died on the 30th. Her favorite color is pink. Loba Volcana, yes, her favorite color is pink. I'm wearing pink in honor of Rebekah Baptiste. Loba Volcana, my goodness, thank you so much for your PayPal. Loba sent some PayPal saying compensation for the sticker that was sent and the 30% that YouTube takes. Oh my word, thank you so, so much. And while I'm at it, just before we get started, I do want to thank supporters. Thank you everyone for all the support, because it does help me to not have ads and things like on these long live streams. So, Loba Volcana, thank you. Paula Bullion sent over $100 on PayPal. Thank you so much. And Robin McManus as well sent a PayPal, and Beverly Fields. Thank you so, so much. That's the most direct source of support, and I really appreciate it. Are we ready, everyone? Okay, I've also boosted the sound for us. I hope that you'll be able to hear nicely. I'll move myself over here. Here we go.
And so, and this occurred on July 27th. So they were here for approximately 3 weeks?
Correct.
And in your time and where did they move to?
Out in River Meadows Ranch out in Hunt, Arizona.
Can you briefly describe how rural that is?
It's nothing but dirt roads, surrounded by trees with small structures spread out throughout the middle of a field of trees.
And in terms,
sound is good, right? And look here sits Rebekah's father. and here right behind him is the girlfriend, Anicia. So these two are facing those horrific charges of first-degree murder, kidnapping, 3 counts of child abuse, which covers Rebekah and her 2 siblings, and 2 counts of molestation, because Rebekah, based on her autopsy and everything, had also suffered sexual abuse. So you're going to hear some of that today. Trigger warning. Black Widow, thanks for being a member for 32 months. And Evelyn, thank you for your sticker.
In terms of being to their resident, can you give an approximate of where the closest neighbor would have been?
Approximately 4-ish miles. There was nobody around that exact residence.
And so based on the investigation, did either of them ever give any indication that anyone else had care or custody of the 3 children between July 5th and July 27th?
No.
And I mentioned 3 children. So we've got RB. Were there 2 other children that they moved here from Phoenix?
Yes, there was.
And can you just give us their initials?
KB1 and KB2.
And in terms of KB1, how old is KB1?
I believe he's 10 or 8.
And then KB2?
6.
And so they did not admit that anyone else had care and custody. You mentioned the 6th.
Leading.
Didn't get to the question.
I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead.
You mentioned July 6th. Was there another family member who was going to live with them, but something changed on July 6th?
Yes, there was.
And who is that?
Sean Fouts, Richard Baptiste's father.
And so
I
based on,
apologize. What was that last name?
Fouts. Fouts.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
and based on your knowledge of the case through the period of July 5th to the 27th, was he in custody?
Yes, he was.
And without going into details, is Mr. Fouts, well, can you explain how they got this land, just very briefly?
So
Objection, foundation.
Based on the investigation, did you determine how they were able to locate to live on this land?
yes,
Judge, that's meaning based on a bunch of hearsay that we haven't demonstrated those folks are reasonably going to be present for trial. And so we need to get who he's getting these statements from and whether they're going to be available for trial. Otherwise, it's not admissible hearsay.
Was the question how they did what on the land?
How they came to live on the land. I can ask more specifics, Judge, if you'd like.
I'll sustain.
By the way, I did the very best I could with the view we have, because this was a Zoom meeting. As you can see, it's a Zoom hearing, right? So yeah, I just put that picture on top so that you can see Rebekah, of course, the victim in this case, and then to her left, her dad, Richard, and to her right, the girlfriend, Anicia. It sounds like the kids are saying the girlfriend was the most abusive, but given the sexual abuse, allegedly, and all of this, I think they were both abusing them. Of course, that's why they're both charged with such serious charges, right? Now, each of them has an attorney. As you can see, this is, I can't remember his name, sorry. This is Richard's attorney, and this is Anicia's attorney. And Richard's attorney has since withdrawn from the case. So he's going to probably get a new attorney.
Just briefly, the objection, a little bit of foundation. Go ahead.
So let me just establish a broad foundation with you real quick. So Sean Fouts, has law enforcement spoken to him?
yes,
And has he agreed to testify at trial if needed?
yes,
Has law enforcement spoken to the neighbors throughout the ranch area?
yes, they have.
And has it been determined that they would be willing to testify at trial?
Yes,
Did you go to Phoenix at some point to work on this investigation?
yes, I did.
And when you were in Phoenix, what places did you go to?
I went to the Phoenix Children's Hospital. I went to the Empower College Prep. I went to the apartment complex that they lived at. I attended the autopsy. I attended the funeral, and that's it for Phoenix.
And when you spoke to the different teachers and administration at Empower Prep, did you speak to them about being available to testify at trial?
Yes,
And did they indicate that they would?
yes, they did.
And how about the neighbors at the apartment complex they had lived in just prior to moving here?
Yes,
Were they willing to testify?
yes, they are.
You talked about multiple medical facilities. There's Phoenix Children's as well as Little Colorado. Is it your understanding that if any subpoenas were served on any of the medical professionals involved in this case, they would testify at trial?
Yes, they would.
So then if we can go back to how they came about living on the land, I think, Can you explain how they moved into this ranch?
So according to Sergeant Arona, Mr. Baptiste had stated in an interview that it was left to his father on a piece of paper by their uncle.
And so it's their uncle who it's Mr. Fout's uncle that passed away, leaving the land to Sean Fouts.
Correct.
And therefore, Mr. Baptiste moved there with his family in July.
Correct.
And so at that time, based on your understanding, investigation, and being there, is there any water?
No, there's not.
How about electricity?
No, there's not.
And there is a community well. Do you know approximately how far that is from there?
I do not.
Did you see it when you drove to the residence?
I did not.
And so let's start with the yurt, the residence. Can you describe briefly for the court the conditions the yurt was at the time that you saw it?
Yes. So at the time that we served the search warrant, when we entered the yurt, it was covered.
I'm showing you a picture of the actual yurt that they were living in. There was no electricity, no running water. It was definitely not really a place to have kids, you know, living there. And they'd only been living there for about 3 weeks, and it's very isolated as well. So I can only speculate that the abuse increased because Rebekah, from the minute they moved in there, was trying to run away even more, like running away multiple times. Neighbors had seen her climbing trees and asking if can I live with you? Shame. This is terrible. So I'm just showing you a picture of what the yurt looked like, and they're going to describe what they also found inside the yurt. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. I'll do my best to answer. I don't know everything, but I'll do my best based on the deep dives that I've done to answer some of your questions. I've also kept the pinned comment of the case prep, which is also in the description box. If you do want to do a deep dive, I would recommend it so that we follow this case right as we go.
In clothes and trash all over the floor, along with animal feces.
And in terms of the size, can you give an approximate size?
Maybe 20 by 20.
And were there other buildings around?
Yes, there was.
Were those being used based on what you could tell?
Except for the bathroom, no.
And so as you looked around, do you recall the bedding situation?
Yes, I do.
What was the bedding situation like?
There was a queen mattress on the south side. There was an air mattress on the north side, and then a swinging porch pad on the floor next to the queen size bed.
And based on the investigation, the statements or anything, including the statements from the children, did you understand the bedding arrangement?
Yes, I did.
Can you describe that for the court?
Yes, Richard and Anicia stayed in the queen bed on the south side. KB1 and KB2 stayed on the north side on the air mattress, and RB slept on the chair cushion on the floor.
And in terms of RB sleeping on the chair cushion on the floor, who did that information come from?
From the Navajo County Detective's supplemental reports.
And let me ask you a little more clarification. Did one of her brothers describe that to law enforcement?
Yes.
And did he explain why she had to sleep on the floor?
Yes, he did.
What did he say?
Because she was in trouble.
So I'm going to show you what's been marked as 74 through 95. I'm going to show them to you in a minute. I'm going to let defense counsel see them. In terms of the crowded space in there, how much water did you see?
None.
How about a bathroom?
I did see a bathroom.
Was the bathroom inside the yurt or in another building?
It was in another building.
And based on your understanding, was the bathroom usable at that time?
No.
And so while you're in the bathroom, is there something that stood out to you that was unusual for you to find in there?
Yes, there was.
Can you describe to the court what you located in the bathroom?
It was a hairbrush with large clumps of blonde hair.
Blonde hair?
Yes.
And you've seen pictures of RB?
Correct.
Color is her hair?
Blonde.
So of course, I'm sure you're following. When they say RB, they're referring to the victim, Rebekah Baptiste, but because, you know, she's a minor, they stick to the initials. Also with her brothers, they refer to them by their initials as well. But RB in this case is Rebekah Baptiste, 10 years old when she died after suffering prolonged torture. They describe it as torture and abuse. My goodness.
During the investigation, was there information? Well, I'm sort of getting in front of myself here. I want to show the court, I want to show you what's been marked as state's exhibits. 74 through 95.
Yes, they do. A belt and a hairbrush, because I was there as they were taking the photos.
Could you also?
Yes, I have.
All right. Any objections, Mr. Brewer?
No.
Mr. Lee?
No, sir.
The state will admit state's exhibits 74 through 95. Again, that admission will be in both matters.
So let's go back. Now we've got a better understanding of the conditions the children were living in. Based on the investigation, was it your understanding that it's that entire time period there was no electricity or water?
Yes, it is.
And so when
So there they said no electricity or water. Tamara Webster said extreme stress can cause loss of hair in clumps and otherwise. Yes, I'm aware. I don't know if in this case either scenario is terrible for 10-year-old Rebekah, right? She was 10 when she died. So whether she had lost clumps of hair from stress from all the trauma, or whether her hair had been pulled out in clumps, we just don't know, because she was tortured a lot based on the evidence that they have.
when RB is on the side of the road with the medical personnel, there is an officer. Well, let me ask you, there's a body worn video from Officer Williams that was one of the first on the scene. Have you reviewed that prior to today?
Yes, I have.
And in that, there is a question from one of the officers asking about if RB had been in an accident that day. Do you recall that?
Yes, I do.
And how did Baptiste and Woods respond?
In unison, they said, no, she ran away.
So no accident and no one else had custody of her.
Correct.
So I want to talk a little bit about how medical professionals got involved. Were there 911 calls?
Yes, there was.
And based on that information, have you reviewed or summarized or seen the summary of the 911 calls?
Yes, I have.
And is there anything that stood out specifically about the 911 calls regarding Defendant Woods when asked about if she understood CPR?
Yes, there was.
Object. There's no reasonable likelihood that Ms. Woods is going to be able to testify. This is an out of court statement. It's hearsay. And so I don't believe it's admissible, at least with respect to my client.
All right. I'll overrule the objection and go forward.
So when she was
The box on top, by the way, is the judge's box, but it was just a black box. They didn't show the judge. So I put those pictures there so that you know what this case is about, who it's about, right? But the judge is so calm when it's like, okay, I'll overrule the objection, right? So if you want to hear snippets of those 911 calls, then you can check it out on the case prep. What stood out, we're going to hear, is what stood out to many of us too, is Anicia, the girlfriend of Rebekah's father, saying that unfortunately she knows 911. Now, somebody in the comments section on the case prep video said, well, maybe she meant it like, well, yeah, unfortunately I know it because maybe she's had to perform CPR many times in her career or something. Maybe she meant it like that. But still, the way she said it, like, yes, unfortunately, and apparently they had called 911 an hour too late, like an hour after Rebekah was already completely unresponsive.
Was asked about providing CPR, if she knew CPR, what was her response?
Yes, unfortunately.
Based on your understanding from the investigation, did she have a medical background?
Yes,
And what was her medical background?
she was a CNA.
Do you know what CNA stands for?
I do not.
But it's a medical professional in some capacity.
Correct.
Did she describe it in her interview, sort of how long she'd worked?
I believe so.
So let's go back to Officer Williams and the body worn camera that you've reviewed. Have you also reviewed her supplemental report?
Yes.
A CNA is a certified nursing assistant. I think you guys know it. There's a lot of nurses in this community, huh? Let us know if you are one.
I have.
And so when she first gets on the scene, can you describe what she said, how RB, what her condition was?
So when she first arrived on scene, RB was laying flat on her back on the side of the road. Officer Williams described her as being yellow, unconscious, unresponsive, and she could not find a pulse, so she started CPR.
And did she give any observations in her supplement report about the condition RB was physically, her body?
Yes.
Can you describe that?
She was severely dehydrated and malnourished.
How about any physical aspects in terms of specific things on her body?
She had bruises all over her body. Her lips were really dry, and she was yellow in color.
Did you say yellow in color?
Yes.
In terms of some more of the first people on the scene, did you review the supplemental report from Trooper Larson from DPS?
Yes, I did.
And when he arrives on the scene, can you describe why he was there?
From his supplement, he stated he had observed ambulances running code, and he went to assist. And when he found out it was for an unresponsive 10-year-old female, he asked the ambulance staff if there's anything he could do to help.
And what direction did they give him?
To ask questions to Mr. Baptiste and Mrs. Woods.
And so specifically with Miss Woods, did he get any information from her about RB's condition?
I believe so.
And so based on that, 71. Do you recall the specifics that he gave Mrs. DCS?
Yeah, I can quickly pause. Look at all the paperwork here. Oh my goodness, they have lots of course, evidence they've collected, reports, medical reports, the DCS reports, all of that. There's a lot of registered nurses here, as well as certified nursing assistants. Thank you so much all for answering. And yes, Iowa travel nurse, I'm going to put your comment up because there's been a few of those, especially for the replay viewers. Certified nursing assistant, not to be confused with a college-trained registered nurse. It frustrates me when they're referred to as nurses. I love and respect my CNAs, but they aren't nurses. Thank you, Iowa travel nurse. So this girlfriend of the father of Rebekah Baptiste, Anicia, was a certified nursing assistant, not a nurse. Sasha, thank you so much.
Based on the specifics did he talk about her dehydration?
Yes.
And can you describe what he said?
That I believe her lips were very dry. She was severely dehydrated, and Mrs. Woods had stated they were having to.
Again, I'm just going to have a running objection to any statement made by Ms. Woods, so I don't have to continue to make that.
All right. We'll note for the record, Mr. Brewer's objections to hearsay statements regarding Ms. Woods' statements. I have heard that objection. I will overrule it. Appreciate Mr. Brewer has now put it on the record so he doesn't have to continue to remake. Go ahead, Ms. Collins.
So if I can take you back to the statements that Ms. Woods made, what did she specifically talk about in terms of the dehydration level that RB was experiencing at that time?
Objection, foundation.
I'll overrule the objection.
That she would choke on trying to drink water out of a straw, so they had to sponge feed her water.
Would it help you to look at his supplement to be able to give the details that Ms. Woods specifically talked about with RB?
Yes, it would.
So I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 7.
Judge, I don't believe he's indicated he didn't recall anything. And so I'm curious as to why he's having his recollection refreshed.
All right. I'll overrule the objection. Is it Exhibit 71?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can you tell us what?
I just want to remind you, especially if maybe people are joining now, that if it seems a little bit, it's not really choppy, but you know what I mean? There's no silent moments. I've chopped all that out. I've defluffed that for us so that we don't have to sit around and wait for them while they flap through papers and don't say anything, right? So I've edited the full hearing so that we can just listen to the evidence. And if you want to listen to the full hearing with all the fluff, okay, I will link that in the description box for you.
Now that you've been able to look.
Yes, Trooper Larson had asked her if this has happened before, referring to her collapsing. And she said the first or second time she believed it was, she was just delirious and they were searching for a therapist
And then how was she trying to give her water?
through a sponge.
Through a sponge? Did she say anything about RB being able to use a straw at that time?
Yes.
And what did she say about the straw?
That she would choke on a straw trying to drink water.
And, okay. And so in terms of, you've mentioned Sergeant Arona, which agency does he work?
The Apache County Sheriff's Office.
And so,
Yes, I do.
so during the start of this case, did you speak to him more than one time?
Yes, I did.
And so on that first day, when you become a part of the investigation, can you describe for the court what happened to RB after being on the side of the road? Where did she go?
She went to LCMC, the hospital in Winslow,
What is LCMC?
Little Colorado Medical Center,
And how, do you know how she got there?
via ambulance.
And so when, once she got to LCMC, did you receive sort of some first impressions from Sergeant Arona?
Yes, I did.
And did you document those in your initial report on from July 27th?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell the court the information that you received that day
Yes.
about RB?
Sergeant Rona had contacted me and told me that she had bruises from head to toe. There was injuries to her vaginal and her anus area. She had damaged missing toenails and burn marks on her back that appeared to be consistent with cigarette burns.
And after you...
Can you imagine being the doctors and the nurses at the hospital where Rebekah was taken to because she was this 10-year-old unresponsive on the side of the road? There's her father and the father's girlfriend saying, I don't know, she ran away and a neighbor found her here. She runs away all the time. Then they realized later, oh, you actually drove her out there? You even stopped for gas? You changed her clothing? Like, what is going on here? Right? But imagine when they took her to the hospital and were trying to save her life. Seeing that she was covered, so trigger warning, right? Head to toe in bruises, cigarette burns on her back. Her toenails, some of her toenails had been ripped off. Clumps of hair missing. It's really, really bad.
To receive those first impressions, did you also were you aware that he spoke to one of the doctors at LCMC?
Yes, I was.
And so prior to today, did you review his supplemental report that sort of described the different injuries from her body head to toe?
Yes, I have.
So I'm going to ask you a little bit about that and then and let me see. If I start with, you've mentioned a little bit of the dehydration. What was the information that was provided by Little Colorado to Apache County specific to her dehydration?
That she was so severely dehydrated that she would not be able to walk on her own power.
And then in terms of her head, what was the initial information provided?
She was missing large chunks of hair from her head. So the doctor had mentioned a possible significant brain injury.
And then, so in terms of throughout the investigation, did that come to fruition? There's in the medical records?
Yes.
How about, and you just talked about the top of her head, how about her face? What was described from her face?
Her lips were very dry and chapped. She had a bruise on her left eye.
How about her arms?
I would need to refer to Sergeant Rona's supplement.
Okay. And give me just a second. I'm also going, before today, have you reviewed the photographs that were taken of RB at both Little Colorado and Phoenix Children?
Yes, I have.
Can you tell us more about what the injuries were noted on her arms?
So both of her arms were bruised. There was large abrasions starting from her bicep, traveling all the way down to her hands.
And how about the midsection? Do you recall?
I do not.
Can you go ahead and refer to the report?
Yes.
Midsection of the body or arms?
Let me clarify the question. So you just spoke about the arms. Do you have any information there was injuries to the midsection of her body?
Yes.
Do you recall the specific details?
I do not.
Okay, so then if you could go ahead and look at the report.
Okay.
Can you tell us what's documented at that time?
Yes, there was large abrasions on her midsection. that went horizontally from her midsection to her back.
You just mentioned her back. Were there any injuries on her back
Yes, there was.
further than what you just described?
Yes.
Can you describe the injuries that were to her back?
I would have to refer to this report.
And I'm wondering, and I've just shown these to defense counsel, if I can show you what's been marked as 40 through 49. These are labeled as photographs from Little Colorado.
Any objections?
Judge, apart from them, I just ask that they be sealed, but no objection.
Any objection after? All right. Without completely addressing all of that, State's Exhibits 40 through 49 will be admitted. The court intends and will order that photographs and medical records that will be admitted during today's hearing will be sealed by the court.
Small burn marks that appear to be consistent with a cigarette type object in the middle of her lower back, right on her spine. Yes, there's a picture of RB's face. That it is her face. Her skin is yellow in color. Her lips are chapped and really dry.
And then I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 41. And then you describe this.
Yes.
Judge, I'm going to object. The photographs have been admitted. The court can view those. They're the best evidence. For him to describe them doesn't do anything for the court.
I will overrule the objection. I think you can, but don't necessarily need to go through those questions. Ms. Collins, go ahead if you would like. Go ahead.
So this is a picture of the left side of RB's face with a injury to the side of her left eye. Is a picture of the right side of RB's face where she has bruising on the right side of her face. It's a picture of RB's right arm with large abrasions and injuries to the elbow of her elbow and forearm. Yes, they're
Objection foundation.
I'll overrule the objection. You can describe.
so they are fairly large. There's scabbing from where it was obviously bleeding, and they're all consistently in the same area of her elbow. It is RB's toes and her feet that they were damaged and appeared to be ripped off. And this photo describes and shows her toenails missing and being damaged. This is RB's torso and pelvis. There's large abrasions starting from underneath her belly button, traveling all the way down to her vaginal area and down her right leg. They're red. Some of them are dark purple.
After Little Colorado, how long did she stay at Little Colorado approximately?
2.5, 3 hours.
And then where did she go?
She was flown to Phoenix Children's Hospital.
And so based on your knowledge, is that where? So let me step back. In this investigation, she was flown to Phoenix Children's Hospital. Did something change from when she was on the side of the road without a pulse and unconscious to when she got to Little Colorado?
Yes,
And what was that?
that she was brain dead.
And so she was brain dead. Did she have a pulse?
She did not.
At some point, did she get a pulse?
Yes, right
Okay.
when she got into the ambulance.
She got a pulse when she got in the ambulance on the side of the road.
Yes,
So she goes to Little Colorado and she goes to Phoenix Children. So that's still sort of July 27th into the 28th.
yes.
And based on your investigation, what happened at the end of this in this part with her at Phoenix Children's Hospital?
RB had passed away.
And how do you know that information?
I was contacted by the Phoenix Children's Hospital
And what day was that?
when it was the following Wednesday.
July 30th?
Yes,
And so the information though that she was brain dead, that came that first day?
yes.
So we just talked a little bit about Little Colorado. I'm going to briefly talk to you about Phoenix Children's Hospital. Did you also collect those records and review the photographs?
Yes, I did. This is the stomach and pelvic area going down to the vaginal area. There's large abrasions that appear to wrap around on the left side and dark colored bruising on her vaginal area. It is RB's back with a large abrasion on her right side. This is the left side of RB's stomach. There is large abrasion marks above her belly button, some that are very dark and starting to scab over. This is the right side of RB's stomach.
Okay, so I'm going off screen here and there because I want to make sure that you're getting the best view of the feed. This comes with a trigger warning, and this is some of the worst part of this preliminary hearing. So just be warned, it's very, very difficult to listen to what Rebekah endured.
The same thing, there's large abrasion marks with injuries that are starting to scab over. This is RB's pelvic area along with the vaginal area with large abrasions starting from both sides of her legs, wrapping all the way down into her inner thighs on top of her vaginal area.
Your review of the records, but also your conversation with Sergeant Arona, was there initial diagnoses that came from any of the doctors that you
Yes.
were told?
Yes.
And so in terms of Dr. Hubbard, did you have any information provided specifically from what he noted?
Yes.
And what did he note?
Dr. Hubbard noted that his findings were consistent with child abuse, child sexual abuse, and torture.
And then in terms of,
I mean, just when you think that it can't get worse, and torture, child abuse, child sexual abuse, and torture, prolonged. What Rebekah went through in her short life, she was only 10 years old when she died, is unthinkable.
Dr. Molitor, who also oversaw her care, can you describe what he said specifically to Sergeant Arona?
I would need to review his report for his exact details.
So you mentioned that RB passed away on July 30th. Did you attend the autopsy? I think you mentioned you had.
Yes, I did.
And so in terms of attending the autopsy, were you aware of well, do we have a report yet?
No, we do not.
And were we given, was there any sort of deadline of where we may or may not get it until?
I believe anywhere from 3 to 6 months.
But were you provided initial findings by the doctor?
Yes, I was.
And who was the doctor?
Dr. Graziano.
And so based on the initial findings from Dr. Graziano from the autopsy you attended, can you describe what the findings were?
Yes, Dr. Graziano stated her preliminary findings were consistent with the doctors at Phoenix Children's Hospital for child abuse, child sexual abuse, and torture.
Additional findings she was able to determine based on her review of.
Here and there, because it was a Zoom meeting as well, you know, it becomes a little bit softer when the attorneys walk away from the microphones, and the judge did remind them throughout, just stay close to the microphone and all of that. Abraham says, I commend these defense attorneys. They have no choice but to represent these monsters. It must be tough to disconnect yourself from these details in order to defend it. Right? A lot of people will say, well, how do you defend people like this? But, you know, they defend everyone's right to a fair trial, and they defend the Constitution, right, in the USA. So they got to do what they got to do. So I'm sure they don't love it, right? Defending people like this. This must be really difficult. And imagine the details. While I'm paused, I just quickly want to tell you, in case you're not outraged enough, this was preventable because there was a huge failure from DCS, right? So Empower College Prep, Rebekah's school in Phoenix, Arizona, reported contacting the Department of Child Safety 12 times between November 2023 and January of 2025 about suspected abuse and neglect. DCS disputed this, claiming that they received only 5 calls, with only one meeting the statutory threshold, that it met the statutory threshold for investigation. 12 times. Those teachers were like, oh my goodness, something is going on here, right? They must be broken over this case. The Arizona Department of Child Safety received at least 12 reports concerning the Baptiste family over a decade, starting when Rebekah was 8 months old in August of 2015. Reports included allegations of neglect by Rebekah's parents, Richard Baptiste and her mother Sandy Hawkins in 2015 and 2016, involving concerns about drug use, severe diaper rash, and an unaddressed ear infection. These were deemed unsubstantiated. So it's like her whole life she suffered. A 2019 report substantiated neglect, leading to the children's removal and placement in foster care. It's Rebekah and her 2 brothers, right? Reports in 2023 and 2024 alleged physical abuse, including scratches on a sibling caused by the girlfriend, Anicia Woods. According to the victim themselves, said that lady scratched me. And claims of Rebekah being punished with spankings, exercise, deprivation of bathroom or water breaks. Most were found unsubstantiated due to insufficient evidence. A May 2025 report that was 2 months before Rebekah died allegedly it alleged physical abuse by Anicia Woods, but DCS lost track of the family after they moved to Concho, Arizona to live in this yurt without updating their contact information. Like, I hope that they're held accountable too, DCS, right? Because they really need to be, especially in a case like this. They were called and called and called and called and called. And they just said that there was unsubstantiated evidence.
Barbie's body in the autopsy.
Yes, there was.
What was that?
Dr. Graziano had stated there was obvious signs of tearing in both the vaginal area and the anus.
Ms. Collins, I know you have a difficult job. As much as you can, speak in front of microphones. Thank you.
Yes, Judge. I knew it. Okay, so let's step back. And in terms of your investigation with RB, was there information about her trying to run away?
Yes.
And did that occur more than one time?
Yes, it did.
And in terms of just maybe the last year or so, through the investigation, were you able to determine that there was law enforcement involved when she was in Phoenix and she ran away?
Yes, it was.
And when was that?
That was, I believe, October of 2024.
Prior to today, have you reviewed those reports?
Yes, I have.
Were those from Phoenix Police Department?
Yes, they were.
And so can you give a brief understanding of what occurred in October of 2024?
Yes, RB had jumped out of a
This foundation laid that this witness will be available to testify.
All right. I believe that she's covered the law enforcement officer's availability kind of as a blanket. I'll overrule that objection. Go ahead.
So RB had jumped out of a 2-story window in an apartment complex. She had ran to at least one homeless person that she saw asking for help and then ran to the QT.
And when she ran, can you describe what the QT is for those who may not know?
The Quick Trip convenience store.
And so when she ran to the QT convenience store, did she provide any information?
Yes, she had told the manager that she was being abused by her stepmother, and so he called the police.
So she said that she was being abused by her stepmother, so law enforcement was called.
Yes.
And so at that time, based on your review of the reports, did she give any information as to what she meant by abuse?
I would have to refer to the report for exact details.
So, Your Honor, if I can add to that information.
This are statements of RB.
These are statements of RB who is deceased, and in part, it goes to the statements that are made by defendants, which then call into an attack her credibility. So because she's deceased, she will not be here. These are the only statements we have.
And these are statements to law enforcement?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll overrule the objection.
Okay. She was transported to Phoenix Children's Hospital because of the visible bruising, and she had told the officers that she had to do planks and run laps, as well as being hit on top of her hands and feet with a brush.
Was she asked anything at all about her siblings?
Yes.
And what information did she provide about her siblings?
She stated that they all were punished, but she got it more frequently and the worst.
So I know we were all wondering about that. You know, did they allegedly specifically target Rebekah because she was the only girl in the, you know, out of the 3 siblings, or were all the kids abused? But Rebekah, and they also spoke to her siblings, you know, Rebekah at the time when she was still alive told police because she ran away multiple times and was really begging for someone to help. It's a very heartbreaking case, and she had said that she got it the worst. And her brothers had said, yeah, they did get punished. They were also abused, but that Rebekah got it the worst. And most of them say from the girlfriend who's sitting right here, Anicia.
72 and 72. During the investigation, did you mentioned going to Empower Prep, did you collect records?
Yes, I did.
And do those records include RB, KB1, and KB2?
Yes, they do.
Did you also put together a supplemental report based on that information that you received?
Yes, I did.
And so, based on the investigation, were there several dates provided by Empower Prep of when DCS was called?
Yes, there was. This is, I don't recall the exact name, but they had teachers fill this out every time they made a report to DCS for suspected abuse.
So in terms of, if I can walk you through the Empower records, in terms of looking at November 2023, and you've reviewed this information, but can you give us that? And if it will help to have your supplement, I can grab it.
Yes, it would.
Okay, so in terms of November of 2023, which child did this report detail?
KB1,
And regarding KB1, what was the report?
that he came to school with scratch marks on the side of his neck.
And the information he provided to the teacher?
Is that his mom did it because he didn't clean up.
Did anything happen the day after? Did anything happen after he told his teacher that?
Yes, the following day, he recanted his statement and said that it was an accident.
Was there any description of how big the scratches were?
They were approximately 2 inches in length.
So then I'm going to have you next look at February 10th, 2024. And for the record, for this time frame, this was KB1 in November of 2023. He would have been 6.
Yes,
So February 10th of 2024, who was the report involving with Empower that day? Which child?
KB1 as well.
And what was the report? What was the issue?
That he had came to school again with scratch marks on his neck.
Did he give any indication why he had scratch marks on his neck?
He said that he got in trouble and that his mom did it.
And after he said he got in trouble and his mom did it, did he say anything after that happened?
No, he did not.
Direct you to September 13th, 2024. Can you tell us which child that report involved?
Also KB1.
And can you describe what KB1, what the issue was?
He also had scratch marks on his neck and described that his mom did it because he was being bad at home.
And after he described saying that his mom did it because he was being bad at home, did he say anything additional or change the story?
He said that his head hurt and he needed to go to the nurse's office.
Did he come back the next day?
Yes, he did.
When he came back the next day, what did he say had happened?
He stated, never mind, Anicia didn't do this to me. I just fell and hit my head.
Was there DCS?
And then DCS believes them? You know, when the child is saying, yeah, I'm being abused at home, I'm being punished, I'm being this, and then the next day, oh no, it wasn't, I'm not, I take it back. That is a huge red flag to just be like, oh, okay, case closed. Really, right? Thank you so much all for being here. I really appreciate it. I know this case can be very triggering, very upsetting. I really hope that justice will be served for Rebekah Baptiste and for her siblings. Her siblings have survived. Rebekah did not survive, and her cries for help were ignored. You know, it's just very sad. So I really appreciate you all being here to watch this as a community.
Follow up regarding this incident with KB1 involving talking to RB. Like, did they talk to RB after this incident?
I don't know.
In a general perspective, I'm walking through a couple dates and I've got 2 more for you, but were there more dates than we're discussing?
Yes, there was.
So in looking at October 29th, 2024, can you tell me which child that report involved?
That was RB.
At that time, was she 9 years old?
Yes, she was.
And what was the complaint?
That her ankles were red and that they hurt.
And when she complained, did she describe why her ankles were red and hurting?
Yes, she said that her parents made her run laps outside the apartment complex.
Did she describe when her parents made her run laps in the complex?
Consistently throughout the day.
And after she told this to one of the teachers, and you spoke to several of them, was there any information given about her concerns about her parents at that time?
I don't
Do you want to
understand.
look at
Yeah.
check your report? And I can try to rephrase that. Did she share any information to the teacher about going home after school?
Yes, she said she did not want to go home.
She said she didn't want to go home.
Correct.
And based on your investigation with the teachers, how often did she say that?
Pretty frequently.
I'll have you look at November 16th of 2024 and then let me know which child this involved.
It is KB2.
So KB2, and at this point, is he 5 years old?
Yes, he is.
And
Apologize, Ms. Collins. What was that date?
November 16th, 2024, Judge. So KB2 is 5 years old, and what is the complaint?
That there's no food at home and he's forced to do planks as a form of punishment.
And when he's asked who does that, who does he say?
Anicia and Richard.
Does he call him Anicia and Richard?
Yes.
Does he describe when the planks happened and when the food was missing? Does he say how often?
Just about every day he explains being tired and hungry.
Did he talk about how he felt about leaving school with his parents?
Yes.
And what did he say about that?
When the staff asked him why he didn't want to go home, he told them that he is not allowed to talk about it.
He was told he was not allowed to talk about it? Did he say who he was? Did he say who told him that?
I would need to refer to this report. Oh, yes, his dad, Richard.
His dad, Richard. Was there also any other complaint or injury on him that he complained about that day?
Yes, he had a missing toenail as well.
He had a missing toenail?
Yes.
And when he had...
So Rebekah had some missing toenails, and so did her brother at some point? Like, what on earth? I think it's even worse than we are even hearing now, you know? Based on the evidence that they found on Rebekah. That is so bad. But to think what was really going on in the home and then later in the yurt, these two need to just never be let out. Of course, right now they're presumed innocent until proven guilty. But based on what they found and based on what these children are saying, the surviving two brothers, yeah, let them never get out. They are charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, child abuse, and molestation. Both of them are facing those charges.
Had the missing toenail, did he give any indication of why he had a missing toenail?
He just stated, I cannot talk about it.
And then I'm going to ask you for one last date, January 16th, 2025. And what child that is referencing?
KB2.
Do you want to double check?
You said the 5th of 2025.
January 16th,
Oh, that's for RB.
RB. And involved in this report, what was the report coming out of Empower at that time?
That she was absent from school.
How long had she been absent?
I believe about a week.
And when she finally does come back to school, does she give reasons to the school as to why she'd been absent? Does she talk about the conditions at home?
I would need to refer to this report.
Go ahead. Yeah, and if you need to look at States Exhibit 62 or 72, specifically probably the Empower prep records regarding January 16th.
Running laps around the apartment complex as well as planks.
And then in terms of receiving food or water, is there any information she gives to the teachers regarding that specifics?
Judge, again, I'm going to object. It appears the officer has no idea what's in the document. It's already been admitted. So I'm not really sure why we need to go through this specifically.
All right, I'll overrule the objection. If you wish to continue with the question, you can, Ms. Collins.
Did she describe one time or more than one time to other adults that she was not getting any food or water?
Yes, she did.
And was that going on for approximately how long prior to them moving up here?
About the entire time that they lived at that apartment complex.
And how were you able to base that information? Who are the people that information's coming from?
The neighbors that lived right next to him at the apartment complex.
And how about the teacher?
So neighbors were concerned, they saw something, they said something, the teachers were concerned, they did the same. Sounds like the Department of Child Safety, they just said, oh, those claims are all unsubstantiated, but these kids were apparently being starved and deprived of water. But just look at these two. they don't look deprived, right? Also, look at the dad here. Writing. Who knows what on earth he's writing?
At the teachers at her school. I found it.
That he gave after caring for Rebekah RB those days.
Dr. Muller stated upon his evaluation, this patient had a high probability of imminent or life-threatening deterioration from acute respiratory failure, shock, and cardiac arrest, which required my direct attention, intervention, and direct management.
During this investigation, you received disclosure of physical exams that were done on all three children.
Yes, I did.
And so in a case like this, would you interview the children?
No.
And so very briefly, just if I can have permission from the court to just lead on this foundational purpose.
Yes, go ahead.
So in this situation, were KB1 and KB2 forensically interviewed in the Phoenix Children's Hospital?
Yes, they were.
Okay. And were there sex assault exams done on all three children?
Yes, there was.
And were those also conducted at the Phoenix Children's Hospital?
Yes, they were.
Have you reviewed before today the report documenting that and their exams?
Yes, I have.
The interview that is done with KB1, can you give us an indication of, was he able to describe the last time he saw his sister?
Yes, he was.
And when did he say the last time he saw his sister?
The night prior to the 27th when she was in timeout.
Did he describe how long she was in timeout?
I do not recall.
Who told her to be in timeout, did he say?
His stepmother.
Was he able to give any indication to the forensic interviewer about seeing her the morning of the 27th?
That she was running laps.
So that's KB1 or KB2?
I do not
your reports on
recall exactly which one.
So
I really hope they make them run laps for the rest of their life. No water. Do the same. How could they do that to children? And it's this guy's own children. Of course, this is the step monster. Don't you think that the toenails, there's already 2 kids now out of the 3 with missing toenails. That would prove torture and abuse, right? Tina says that when is the trial? That date has not been set yet. They've only just had this preliminary hearing and they've only just been arraigned on all the charges, of which after this or during this 2 charges were added. So first-degree murder, kidnapping, child abuse, and molestation charges. They've only just been arraigned, and so we're just following this case from the very start, and seeing when the trial date will be. Hopefully we can watch it together. I do believe that Arizona, when I look up, Arizona has the death penalty, hey? This case is in Arizona, so wonder if they'll pursue that. Bree was saying earlier that the dad's going to turn on the girlfriend. I think they're going to try to turn on each other. One's going to blame the other one, aren't they? That's usually how we see this go. Emily said her voice was ignored. I think it's important we listen now, acknowledge the pain she endured, and fully expose these monsters for what they are. Yes, thank you so much, Emily.
in terms of RB1, and I can get you the documentation in a moment, you said the last time he'd seen her was she was in timeout.
Correct.
Okay. So if you want to look at the documentation in States Exhibit 30, regarding KB1's testimony specifically, or his interview specifically, did he give any indication that he directly saw RB prior to them all going up to Holbrook?
I would need to review this. Really
Go ahead.
quick. Okay.
And was he able to indicate that he'd seen his sister that morning?
Yes.
When did he last see her?
When she was in timeout.
Okay, and after timeout, and I didn't address this earlier, were the boys with Baptiste and Woods when they drove RB to get help?
Yes, they were.
So prior to that, based on his interview, the last time he saw her was in timeout and then in the car.
Correct.
If we talk about KB2, when did he describe the last time he saw RB?
The last time he saw her, she was running laps or walking in the desert.
And do you recall at the very beginning of the interview, him being asked to give his parents' names?
I would have to refer back to this report for KB1.
KB2, at the very beginning of the interview, him being asked to give his parents' names and what his response was.
He didn't know if he should tell her his parents' names.
He didn't know if he should tell his parents' names.
Yes.
And does he talk in his forensic interview about anything that his dad does to him?
I would also need to refer back to this report.
Go ahead. So specifically, does his dad do anything to him?
Yes, he hits him with a belt
He hits him with a belt. And does that happen? How often does that happen?
when he gets in trouble.
Does it happen has that happened to him more than one time?
Yes.
And when he was asked to describe more details about being hit, what was his response to the forensic interviewer?
That he's not supposed to talk about it.
That he's not supposed to talk about it?
Yes.
Does, and he describes what he got hit with?
Yes, a belt.
A belt. When he describes the belt, does he, okay, and then does he also describe if his mom does anything?
Yes, he stated both Richard and Anicia hit him with a belt.
And when he talks about his mom hitting him with a belt, how does he describe that?
A lot more than his dad does.
Does he describe where he is hit with the belt?
On the top of his hand in the desert.
Later on, when they ask him about his sister, and if he's aware of her being abused, what does she say? What does he say about his sister?
That when she runs in the desert, whenever she gets punished, he was told he's not allowed to talk about what happens to Rebekah.
And so,
Oh my goodness. So these two, the dad of the kids and the girlfriend, so the stepmother, were allegedly telling them based on the victims, right? The surviving victims, don't talk about it. You do not tell anyone what's going on here. That's so terrible. Emily said this is like what, Ruby Frankie and Jody Hildebrand, it does remind me of that case as well. I have covered it too. So if you didn't see it, if you just say Ruby Frankie, Grizzly True Crime, you should find my coverage. That was terrible. Also, making the kids run around in the desert and do all sorts of punishments and not give them water. I mean, what on earth is wrong with these people? That's a rhetorical question because everything is the answer.
to clarify, when the interview changes about to RB, he says he can't talk about it.
Yes.
Does he talk about knowing that she gets hit?
Yes.
How does he know that?
Because he could hear Rebekah crying when Anicia would hit her with a belt.
And in reference to clarify, when he is asked about, what does he say in terms of why he's not allowed to talk about RB? Who tells him not to talk about RB?
His parents.
And based on your investigation, does that happen one time or more than one time?
More than one time.
Deputy Soderquist, you have also reviewed the defendant's statements.
Yes, I have.
You watched the interviews.
Yes, I have.
I just want to ask a couple general questions in terms of those interviews. At some point, is there do they give any indication that anyone else had babysat the kids?
No.
Window.
Objection to they, I'd rather specify which defendant.
I didn't hear all of the question and then I didn't hear all of the objection. What was the question again?
So I was asking if both Baptiste and Woods either one of them gave an indication that anyone babysat the kids between July 5th and 27th.
All right. And the objection?
It was different, phrased differently, so that's fine.
All right. Go ahead.
I phrased it better. So if you can answer that question.
Yeah, so they stated in the interview with the Navajo County detectives that no one has had custody of any of the three children except for Richard and Anicia.
How about jobs? Did they have jobs yet?
No, they did not.
Was Baptiste working on getting a job?
Yes, he was.
At some point, do they both admit hitting RB?
Yes, they do.
And let's talk Baptiste first. So let's walk with him. So what does he admit hitting RB with?
With a belt.
And when he talks about hitting her with a belt, does he describe how often that happens?
I don't recall exactly how often.
More than one occasion?
Yes.
What about hitting KB1 and KB2?
Yes.
And back to defendant Woods, does she admit hitting RB with a belt?
Yes.
How about KB1 and KB2?
Yes, she does.
And just to clarify, the ranch and the location of where you're in residence, is that within here in Apache County?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so if you didn't watch the case prep or part 1, I hope you will check it out because there's more details in there that we had discussed before this, right? And I'm just going to remind you of some where in police interviews, both suspects admitted to using excessive force to discipline the kids and particularly Rebekah. So they're not denying it. They admit that, yeah, we punished them and yeah, we used excessive force. Richard Baptiste said he used a belt to punish Rebekah for running away, but he denied causing her head trauma. Anicia Woods also admitted using a belt, causing some of Rebekah's bruises, but claimed that Richard was primarily responsible for disciplining her. So there you could already see the two of them turning on each other, even in the initial police interviews. Their accounts were inconsistent and they showed little emotion when confronted with photos of Rebekah's injuries. So even after she died, when they showed, look at all these injuries on her, cigarette burns, there's a toenail missing, clumps of hair, bruises everywhere. All these marks on her body, they showed little emotion. Richard reportedly said it wasn't supposed to do that. What kind of statement is that? It wasn't supposed to do that when shown the extent of the damage. Police also found bloody clothing in the couple's tent, which they had changed Rebekah out of before calling 911. They called 911 on July 27th of 2025. So yeah, the two of them have been charged with first-degree murder, child abuse, kidnapping, and molestation.
So one last little bit. So we talked about the neighbors in that whole ranch area, thousands of acres.
Yes.
And so through this investigation between you and other deputies, were you able to canvass the neighborhood about her missing on the 27th?
Yes.
And so understanding an aspect that I did not go into yet. We talked about her running away in Phoenix. We talked about her, the QT and the apartment. Did she run away here?
Yes, she did.
And when is the first time she ran away here?
I would have to refer to, I believe it was July 9th.
July 9th. And so on July 9th, in an effort, Judge, if I could just leave momentarily.
Go ahead.
Is that the day that that there is a search put together and Andrew locates her?
Yes.
And then is there another time that she runs away?
Yes, there is.
And approximately after the 9th, when was that?
I believe July 12th.
And on July 12th, was there a Facebook group sort of searching for? And based on the investigation, does RB get located?
Yes, she does.
How so?
She returned on her own.
And each of those times she was missing, based on the statements from the defendants, was the time frame about an hour or 2 hours max?
Yes.
And so is there any information that you have in this entire investigation that from the 12th to the 27th, there was any time she was missing?
No.
Was there any indication from talking to the neighbors? Well, based on talking to the neighbors, after the 9th and the 12th, did they sort of based on what you know, did they have a group ready to go if something were to happen to her?
Yes, they did.
And on the 27th, was there any indication from any neighbor that they received any communication from Richard Baptiste or Anicia Woods that RB was missing?
No, there was not.
I don't have anything for.
Very important point that the state attorney made there, because Richard and Anicia claim that Rebekah ran away on July 27th of 2025 and a neighbor found her in the wash where she was unresponsive. But on that day, a neighbor had not found her. They're just bringing in details from a previous incident where Rebekah ran away, which was on the 12th. And there, the neighbors got involved. They were looking for Rebekah. Rebekah apparently, to return on her own, but the Facebook group was looking for her. So they were aware of it. But on this day, the day that it does sound like that's what it is, but I'm going to say I speculate that they drove her body out there and staged the scene before calling 911, knowing she wasn't going to make it. on that day, they never told any neighbors that she'd run away or had gone missing. So that's a huge red flag.
All right, Mr. Brewer, cross-examination.
Thanks, Judge. Deputy, are you familiar with the Brady list?
Yes, sir.
Judge,
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit A. Yes, you recognize that.
Yes, I do.
I just like to.
I don't know the exact verbiage for it, but I understand that it's an integrity list, I believe, of conduct with.
So now it's Richard Baptiste, defense attorney, asking questions in this cross-examination of this witness. And then, of course, Anicia's attorney will also get a turn to, do the cross-examination.
I don't. Yeah, it could be multiple people, but yes, law enforcement, yes.
Officer, deputy, is that right?
Yes, sir.
In your investigation, how did RB die?
I would have to refer to the medical records for the exact terminology.
Well, let me ask you this. Did the hospital make a determination to terminate life by taking away life-sustaining machinery?
Yes, they did.
And so she didn't die, for lack of a better word, naturally. She died based on the hospital's actions or inactions in deciding how to treat her. Is that correct?
Can you rephrase that? I'm sorry.
Well, but for the actions of the hospital, would she still be on respirator? Still on some machines?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Brewer, sorry, Mr. Brewer, Exhibit A needs to be marked if you still have that.
It's marked, Judge.
I mean, it needs to be marked as admitted to the clerk and submitted to them. If you need it again, you can get it. Sorry, Ms. Collins, your objection.
Any further request of him on medical knowledge, I would object as speculation. There is hearsay, but he just asked him to speculate on whether or not she'd be alive or not. So I would ask that to be stricken from the record. He does not have the training or experience to even know if that would be accurate.
So, sure.
Any response, Mr. Brewer?
Judge, she already answered the question, so I just asked that it stand.
All right, I will sustain the objection and strike the answer. I believe it was asking for speculation.
So from your information, she was alive, and then when the machines were turned off, she died. Is that right?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
RB was alive, and then at some point they turned the machines off, and then she was dead, right?
Yes.
What was the doctor's determination with regard to the cause of death, the cause of her situation where she was?
We don't have the autopsy report yet. I don't know.
Was there indication that there was blunt force trauma to the head?
Yes.
Was there anything that you found in your investigation that determined or showed you that there was abuse or contact with an object to her head? Was there ever any allegation of that? Did anybody admit to anything like that?
I don't know about admitting, but they're from the photographs that I saw and the injuries to the top of her head. Yes.
And would you agree with me? Those injuries appeared to look as though the hair had been pulled from the scalp. Is that right?
Yes.
And that would be consistent with what you found in the wastebasket of hair that looked like RB's that was connected to a brush.
Yes.
And there were also statements that happened. There was, I believe, when you in the investigation isn't it accurate that the Ms. Woods indicated that she may have used a brush to pull the hair out of her head, trying to get knots out.
Yes.
Were there any indentations or any kind of clear head injuries apart from that?
No.
I think this defense attorney should grow his hair out, get it real knotty, and then try brush it out. The clumps are coming out. Yeah, right. It wasn't Rebekah who did that, right?
Did anyone from medical ever tell you that the cause of death was because of the use of the belt on RB?
Not that I recall.
And is that primarily, physically speaking, the only allegation lodged at Mr. Baptiste was that he used a belt?
I believe so.
Was there ever any indication or something that would suggest that he used a belt buckle as opposed to the other side of the belt?
I don't recall.
In your experience in law enforcement, perhaps personal experience, is oftentimes, maybe not as much now, but a belt is used as a form of corporal punishment sometimes. Is that right?
Sometimes.
You indicated the living conditions at the yurt. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And that's the basis upon which you are saying the child abuse is where the child abuse occurred primarily with regard to these charges. Is that correct?
I believe so.
And you showed the house. It seemed to those fairly cluttered, clothing, things of that nature. There was a well in the area. Is that right? A community well?
Yes, there was.
And you didn't take the time to determine the distance from the Baptiste residence to the well?
No, I did not. There was a different deputy.
Were there water jugs of any kind on that property, inside or outside?
I believe there was one.
And did that have water in it?
That I do not know.
Did they have a form of a generator that would be able to produce electricity if they needed to?
I did not see a generator.
Did you see any kind of solar panels or anything that perhaps would produce electricity in that way?
I did see a solar panel, yes.
Did you check that to determine whether it was operational, whether it was generating any type of electricity?
No, because I was told it didn't work.
By who?
Sergeant Rona with his interview with Mr. Baptiste.
Okay. And so you're taking the statement of Mr. Baptiste as being the truthful one, is that right?
That they didn't have power?
That those weren't working.
Correct.
You didn't go above and beyond and look and see and make sure they weren't working.
No, I don't know how to work solar, so no, I did not.
And is it your understanding that solar can, if used properly, generate electricity?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you notice, well, they obviously had a vehicle that was operational, is that right?
Yes.
And the jug that you saw, would that have been able to fit in the vehicle that they had to be able to go get water if they needed to?
Yes.
And wasn't one of the times where the RP was going was to the well? She said she was.
Yes.
Also, wouldn't that be important to find out the distance to see exactly how far that was for her to go?
Correct.
Let's talk a little bit more about discipline. You indicated that they indicated that they seem to have been disciplined in perhaps unique ways where they would do running or planks. Is that kind of a strength exercise? I mean, is that what
yeah,
that is?
I suppose.
Is there a concern about running because it's a form of punishment? Or, I mean, if it was in the context of training the child to be a football player or soccer player, would that concern you as much? Or is it because it's discipline that they're making their child run that concerns you?
It was the discipline and the complaints from the children.
But if he was out there wanting her to be the best athlete and had her running, no issue with that?
I don't know.
They'd arrived at the home in the yurt, which was not theirs initially. Is that right? They did not put that up.
Correct.
And that had already been lived in, presumably?
Yes.
And there were already items in that yurt?
Yes.
Sir, if somebody is making their child do that amount of strength training or sport with no water in the desert, yeah, it's still a huge red flag. It still would be child abuse, in my opinion. By the way, this is attorney, Richard Baptiste attorney sitting right here, the dad, right? This attorney is the one who withdrew. So 12 News actually interviewed him and said, what do you make of your client's own admissions according to the police report? And he said, not helpful, but it is what it is. We have to deal with that, said Benjamin Brewer. So that's his name, an attorney assigned to Baptiste's case. These are public defenders. He said, I mean, using a belt in the old days was probably more customary than it is today. Maybe not to that level, but again, that's what he did, and that's what we have to work with. But on Monday, which today is actually Tuesday, the 9th of September, so on Monday, the 8th, when Baptiste and Anicia Woods were arraigned on those charges. Benjamin Brewer told the judge that he wants to withdraw from the case and no longer represent Baptiste. He said, "I need to advise the court upon review of recent discovery, there is an issue that's arisen that's requiring my withdrawal." Brewer asked the judge if he could provide him with further explanation as to why he was withdrawing in private. It remains unclear exactly why he wants off the case. Oh my goodness. So Baptiste and Woods are due back in court on September 22nd for another hearing. So we'll see what happens then. And of course, then Richard Baptiste will need a new attorney. So now I'm even more curious what Richard was writing there. Or what did this attorney find out that now he's like, yeah, I can't, I gotta withdraw. Okay.
And you perhaps don't know what items were in there or what were not, but presumably there were some items in there that were not the Baptiste,
Correct.
not Mr. Baptiste. And with regard to the clutter, would you agree with me that if an individual were to move to a place that was already occupied with stuff, you just probably have some clutter for a bit of a time?
The picture that I saw of the yurt prior to them moving there, that thing was spotless and clean.
When did you see that?
I don't recall the exact date.
Did you had cause to be out at the yurt previously to that?
It was through a photograph.
Through a photograph?
Yes, sir.
And it was the inside of the yurt?
Yes. It was all three, RB, KB1, and KB2, laying on the floor watching TV.
Okay, so they were there.
Yes, they were.
So this was during a time when earlier in July?
I don't recall, but earlier, yeah, somewhere around there.
Or you don't have anything prior to their actual arrival, July 4th or whenever it was, right?
I don't know the exact date. I just saw the picture.
With regard to the KB1 and KB2, well, specifically, let's go with KB2. That's a male, right?
Yes.
And was there any indication that he ever said that he was not given enough water?
I'd have to refer to my report. I don't recall.
Did he ever indicate that he didn't have enough food?
So I would have to refer to my report.
With regard to the discipline that he received, did he ever indicate to you that he felt that his life was in danger or he was in peril of life or limb in any kind of way? Did he ever indicate anything like that?
I did not speak to him.
Did you, in your investigation, did he ever say anything like that to anybody?
Not in that exact wording.
Right. You understand what I'm saying, just in that, along those lines.
Correct.
You indicated, just so I know, it says, the complaint says, under circumstances likely to produce death or serious physical injury when referring to KB2. And I'm just trying to understand what circumstances and what were likely to produce death or serious physical injury of him.
Objection,
Given what they were.
speculation, and a legal analysis that he's requesting of him.
Just
I will sustain the objection to the extent you're having him answer the definitional. You can ask him his observations if you'd like. Go ahead.
So as far as your investigation uncovered, what are those things specifically about where KB2 lived and who he lived with that were circumstances that were likely to produce death or serious physical injury of KB2?
There was no water. There was no running water. There was no power at the residence.
Okay, no running water, no power. Anything else?
The feces scattered all over the floor with multiple dogs inside the house.
Okay. And the serious physical injury of that would be what?
Objection, speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
With regard to you visited a number of people out there in that area, is that right?
I did not know.
Okay, but you were aware of investigations where officers did go and investigate that, right?
That is correct.
And those individuals, did they all have running water?
I am unsure.
Do they all have electricity?
Also unsure.
Did they have any did they happen to have dog or cat feces in their house?
I am unsure.
With regard to RB, apparently there were two determinations made by doctors that seemed to I don't know if conflict is the right word, but one indicated that there may have been sexual abuse. The other one specifically saw tearing of the anus and the vagina. Is that right?
Yes.
And the first doctor who did not report that specifically, did you get any reason why they did not report that?
I did not. Just speaking with Sergeant Arona, he said they were waiting for the SANE exams.
And as far as was there any indication from the doctor who indicated that he saw those injuries, how they were caused?
No.
Was there any indication or any kind of results from testing that would suggest there was DNA or any other bodily fluid connected in that area from Mr. Baptiste?
We have not received the results yet from the DPS crime lab.
But swabbings were collected.
Yes, they were.
With regard to the information pertaining to I believe it's KB1. Let me see here. It's hard for me to know who's who because they are listed differently in the police report. One of the individuals had indicated there was some kind of that there was the KB2 indicated, or they believe that he had some kind of sexual contact from someone else based on the review of his body. Is that right?
Yes.
And did not.
I hope he's not going where I think he's going. Don't you blame a child now.
KB2 indicate that was caused by a stick when he was outside playing.
That I do not recall.
Do you know what he said about how that injury got there?
Not exactly. I'd have to refer to my report.
Did any of the children and RB prior to her death and KB1 and KB2 ever indicate or make an allegation of a sexual nature reference Mr. Baptiste?
Not to my knowledge.
And KB1 and KB2 did go through at least one forensic interview. Is that right?
Yes.
Did they go through a separate forensic interview?
Not yet.
Is that going to happen?
At some point.
During that forensic interview, did they ever disclose that they had been improperly and sexually touched in some way by Mr. Baptiste?
I don't recall.
You would agree with me that's fairly important when you're charging, when the charges are for my client.
Objection, speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
So you are the case officer,
Yes.
and one of the charges is molestation of a child. You're aware of that?
Yes.
And that would be KB2.
Yeah.
And you're unaware of what statements he's made regarding any kind of sexual stuff that has happened.
I would need to refer to the report for exact details for you.
The reports you're
Stuff.
referring to have all been admitted into evidence. Is that right?
Yes.
And if the court needs to review those, the court can.
Yes.
Just for clarification, Mr. Brewer, most of the reports have not been admitted, the law enforcement reports. They're only used to assist his memory, ask questions about.
Okay, but all right. Well, just for my information, have the forensic reports been admitted?
That was State's Exhibit 30, and that has not yet been admitted. It's the summaries of them. Sir, I have no problem admitting them if you want them admitted.
The information that you had was that this RB had a history of running away.
Yes.
And I guess just to be clear, I think initially you testified that it was mom and dad, but you're not saying it was mom that was part of this case. Is that right? It's stepmom?
Yes.
Okay. Microphone. And the running away of RB had been attended to by on at least two occasions by a number of other witnesses that lived in the area, the neighbors of Mr. Baptiste. Is that right?
Yes.
Was there ever, prior to the neighbors being advised that RB was in rough shape, were there ever any clear statements by the neighbors saying that when they saw her in her condition, that she looked as though she was beaten and bloodied in any of those interviews?
Not exactly beaten and bloodied.
Defense attorney, have you ever heard of a terrible form of child abuse called neglect? That could also be a very severe one. They don't need to look beaten and bloody, to be abused children. In this case, though, Rebekah's body had all sorts of injuries. But clearly the neighbors, they maybe didn't see that because it was from her biceps up bruises, bruising head to toe, cigarette burns on her back, belt marks, clumps of hair, right? So what a question, my goodness.
But maybe some scratches and stuff, but they attributed to just being out in the desert. Is that right?
Yes.
Nothing caused a full alarm concern about when they found her, making them to call the police and say, hey, something's going on with this girl, right?
I believe so.
But they only lived out there for 3 weeks before Rebekah died. And in those 3 weeks, she'd run away at least 3 times. Well, twice. It went over the July 9th and then on the 12th. And on the 12th, that was the second time. And the whole quite isolated community in the desert there, right? They're not like houses one on top of the other. Where the yurt was pretty isolated and Rebekah ran away. On the 12th, there was a whole Facebook group searching, neighbors searching. They knew about her. They were not alerted on the 27th. So within 3 weeks, I think they'd already been a bit concerned. We'll watch a clip of some of the neighbors talking after this preliminary hearing. We've still got like 48 minutes left.
And the last one of those was on the 12th of July. That's when apparently the last grouping of these folks came around to find RB, correct?
Yes.
And there was the 27th when this incident was supposedly occurring.
Correct.
So that's a 15-day period. And did you see injuries that were over 15 days old on her?
Objection, speculation.
I'll allow the question. If you know the answer, you can answer it.
I don't know how to answer that. I can't gauge
Do you
how old
believe
bruises are.
Do you believe all the wounds that you saw on her were attributable to within a 15-day time period, or do you believe some of those occurred prior to that?
15-day time period.
And so your testimony is that on the 12th, very little, if any, injuries on RB, right?
Objection, speculation.
Were you involved at all on the 12th?
No, I was not.
I'll sustain the objection.
With regard to your information that you received from the neighbors, they didn't seem to have any concern about her well-being apart from her running away. Is that right?
Yes.
The third time where Mr. Baptiste was interviewed, correct?
Yes.
He indicated, as well as Ms. Woods indicated, that RB had run away again the morning of the 27th.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And that they had attempted to rally the troops again, or at least call a neighbor to see if they could get some assistance.
They did not do that.
No, I mean, did they tell you they did that? Or did they tell a law enforcement officer that they called people, or did they not call people that day?
They didn't call people that day.
Okay. And so they were taking it upon themselves to go and find her.
Correct.
And they did indicate, though, that someone found her, right? A neighbor?
That's what they said. Yes.
Right. And as far as the number of neighbors out there, how many neighbors is that? I mean, how many pieces of property are we talking about here?
Maybe 4, 5, maybe at the most.
Okay. And those are all touching or a few out from where the Baptiste property is?
They're a ways away from the Baptiste property.
And as far as your investigation could tell, every single neighbor that was in a general area of a person who had an ATV was interviewed about whether or not they had found RB on that day.
Correct.
And so you're certain that there's no other neighbor out there who may have been the person who found RB and took her back on the four-wheeler.
On the 27th?
Yes.
Yes.
Isn't it true in one of the forensic interviews, one of the children indicated that they saw a neighbor bring back RB on that day?
No, it was on the 12th.
And are you certain that the child was aware of what date he was being asked to talk about
Not the exact date.
or the exact incident?
Yeah, he described the neighbor that brought him along with the yellow four-wheeler that dropped her off.
There was a little discussion about the arrangements for RB's living conditions. She was living on a mat, some kind of padded mat on the floor. Is that right?
Yes.
And is that, in your impression, improper?
Yes.
So your child shouldn't live on a mat on the floor.
No.
And if they're not in a bed, that could be a problem for them from your perspective.
Yes.
Did any of the children ever indicate to you that Mr. Baptiste combed RB's hair?
No.
With regard to the allegations made pertaining to abuse from the children during your investigation, were more allegations made toward Ms. Woods or Mr. Baptiste?
As far as
The number of accusations made as far as who was doing the primary punishment or whatever you want to call it.
they had stated, came from both of them. They just got it the worst from Mrs. Woods.
Okay, but I'm saying in all of the documentation, the reports to the schools, the reports to whoever else wasn't Ms. Woods more oftentimes listed as the aggressor in that as opposed than Mr. Baptiste?
Yeah.
Did Mr. Baptiste was he trying to seek employment during that period of time from July 4th through the 27th?
I believe so, yes.
And just for my impression, how far is it from this location to, say, Holbrook?
Half hour, 35 minutes.
Okay. And if you were looking for work, Holbrook would be a good place, at least one of two places to go?
Yes.
How far is St. John's from this location?
Maybe 45, 50-ish minutes.
So Holbrook is closer.
Yes.
So when they decided to take the child to Holbrook, that was the quickest place to get help.
Objection, speculation.
Are you talking about the medical?
Just driving them to either to St. John's or Holbrook. Holbrook was faster. I'm just asking them that.
All right. If you know, you can answer.
I guess I would say.
And would you agree with me, it'd be a bit unusual if to cause this damage and then try to take them to the quickest way to get help?
I don't understand.
If the Baptistes are supposedly the ones who did this and caused this damage, would it not be unusual then for them to travel to the quickest location to try to get help for this child?
No.
Okay. As far as, did you ever get an idea of how long or how often Mr. Baptiste was looking for work while he was in Holbrook or wherever he was looking?
No, I did not.
But you were aware he was doing that.
Yes.
And that would obviously take him away from the yurt
Yes.
for at least an hour. And if he's looking for work, probably much more than an hour. Would you agree?
Objection, speculation.
You can answer.
Right, sorry to pause it there. I always try to pause, not in the middle of a sentence. I do my best. So people were asking, well, where's Rebekah's biological mother? So, and the siblings, right? So Rebekah's mother lost custody of the kids in 2019. This is all in part 1. It's detailed there, which is in the description box below or in the pinned comment right now in the live chat. They were placed in foster care until Richard Baptiste regained custody of the 3 kids, Rebekah and her 2 brothers, in 2022. So it's like one of those cases like Adam Montgomery fighting for custody of Harmony, and then abusing her until she died. Remember that case? We watched the trial together as well. If you haven't seen it, it's always there for you to watch the replay. Yeah. Why did he even do that? Maybe for money? You know, some sort of child benefits or something? Because why? Why do that and then abuse them? Like, what is going on there? But that was March 14th of 2019. The DCS received a report alleging neglect of Rebekah and her siblings by their parents, claiming that Sandy Hawkins, who's the biological mother, exposed a child to substances during pregnancy. The investigation resulted in Rebekah and her siblings being removed from the home and placed in foster care for 3 to 4 years. I mean, shame. Oh my goodness.
So the question, I'll overrule the objection.
He was looking on a phone. He wasn't. There's no paper applications anymore. You can apply for jobs online.
Does they, did he have, or do you know if there's cell service out there? Can you call from your?
Yes, there is cell service.
And what kind of phone did you use in making that determination?
My department issued work phone.
Did you ever use his phone to
No.
make a determination? Did you ever use Ms. Woods' phone to see if she could get service out there?
No, I did not.
You would agree with me that different providers would probably provide different service for whether or not someone could get a call through?
Yes.
And Mr. Baptiste indicated he was having trouble getting calls through when he was trying to call 911 while he was traveling to Holbrook.
Yes.
Did you do a phone records check on him?
Yes, I did.
And did that come back yet?
Yes, as.
And did he make 911 calls?
Yes, he did.
Did some of those not go through because he didn't have service?
Yes.
So he was telling the truth.
Objection, speculation.
What he told you was accurate with what you saw in the reports.
Pretty close.
Did Ms. Woods have a phone? Her own phone?
Yes, she did.
Did you check that phone as well?
Yes, I did.
Any calls from 911 from that phone?
I'd have to review my report. There was multiple phones seized.
Was Mr. Baptiste ever questioned whether or not he knew CPR?
Was he ever questioned about it?
Did you ask him, or do you know whether or not he knew CPR?
No.
You didn't ask him?
No, I did not.
Did you determine through your investigation whether or not he knew CPR?
I don't. I'm sorry. What do you?
I mean, the question that someone asked whether or not Ms. Woods she's a medical person and knew CPR.
Mhm.
And apparently didn't do CPR until the very end or something like that. Did Mr. Baptiste get asked those same questions?
No.
Okay, so you don't know whether or not he knows CPR or not.
I do not.
Did RB have some kind of disease on her mouth?
From what the parents stated,
Was that confirmed?
that is, don't have the report back. I don't know.
Was that identified as something observable, that there's appeared to be cracking of the lips or maybe scabs in the lip area?
Yes.
And that's consistent with what the Baptiste said is the result of the disease that she had?
Objection, speculation.
Do you know the answer to that question?
I do not, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
Have you done tests or swabs on Mr. Baptiste?
Yes.
Has anything indicated him coming back with any kind of herpes type symptoms? Or
I do not have the results back yet.
and you checked the areas that would be where those would be found, I presume?
Yes.
They share with you how they believed RB got that disease, or I don't know what it is, some kind of something.
I believe they had mentioned it came somewhere in Phoenix.
That he was kissing a boy, or she was kissing a boy at school or something?
That sounds correct.
Any indication?
Right. So her own dad allegedly blamed the victim for whatever was going on with getting a mouth disease, and then saying, yeah, she's kissing some boy at school. Okay, predator. Oh my word. This dad and the girlfriend. Terrible. Luetta said, thank you so much for covering this one. Thank you all for being here. I hope you'll check out the video with the body cam, the 911 calls and all of that as well, because that certainly was interesting.
That anyone else, either the other children had.
By that, I mean the way they reacted, right? When the police actually were out there at the scene and trying to figure out what is going on here.
Disease.
No.
And although there's not CPR, forgive me, but that's where your chest compressions.
Yes.
And was there a statement that that Ms. Woods was doing air breathing or trying to do air breathing, but without chest compressions?
They stated she was doing rescue breaths.
Rescue breaths?
Yes.
Can you tell me the difference between child abuse and torture?
I can't tell you the difference. I know how to answer that.
Child abuse includes many forms of abuse, including neglect.
Did the doctor ever elaborate on what those specific terms meant to him when he wrote them down?
I would have to refer to his report.
And it's my understanding that ultimately a pulse was obtained in the ambulance of RB.
Yes.
Was there some indication, either through interviewing of neighbors or parents, that the shoe size that RB was wearing were either too big or too small?
Not that I recall.
Okay. But it would be, if they were in those reports, they would be in there. Is that correct? I mean, whatever's in there is in there.
I believe so.
And I think I heard you, and I want to make sure her toe was not ripped off. Her toenail was off.
Her toenail, correct.
And when you say ripped off, you can't be sure of that either, can you? It was off, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it wasn't her toe that was ripped off, it was just the toenail, asked the defense attorney. Isn't that a huge concern? I know he's just doing his job, but still. That is not normal. And then her sibling has a similar situation where his toenail is ripped off or is off.
And they can come off in a number of different ways. Would you agree?
Yes.
That could just happen naturally if you stub your toe and it goes black and falls off, right?
Yes.
The items you collected at the home, was there anything in there that showed a presence of blood or obvious DNA apart from the brush and the hair?
There was lots of paper towels with blood all over them in the same trash can where we found the clumps of hair. There was a set of pink shorts with RB's underwear in the walkway between the houses that looked to have a bloody stain at the bottom of the underwear.
And that was discussed with Mr. Baptiste, was it not? That issue with the underwear?
Yes.
And he indicated that when they'd collected her, she had wet herself. Is that right?
Yes.
And so they changed her pants by taking off her pants and underwear and put on another something over her private area, another pair of pants, right?
Yes.
Shorts or something. And at this point in time, you can't be certain that it's blood. And is that fair?
Yes.
And those are off for testing.
Yes, they are.
And I assume all the Kleenexes, for lack of a better word, were collected,
Yes.
and those are sent for testing as well.
Yes, they were.
Are you aware whether or not you can determine where blood came from on a particular person once it's off?
No.
Did the KB1 or KB2 ever give you any indication that from the time of the second pickup of RB on the 12th of July till the 27th, that they heard, heard or saw beatings, screaming, anything that would be consistent with what injuries we've seen when she was taken to the hospital?
Well, the KB2 had stated that he knew RB was being beat when he could hear her screaming. And they'd also mentioned they were told to go to their tree house and play throughout the day.
And did you get pictures of that treehouse?
No,
And do you know how far it is from the house?
I did not locate a tree house.
Okay, on the property, there's no treehouse that you saw?
I did not see one.
And the walls of the yurt are made of what?
Like canvas?
So you can probably hear through those pretty well.
Yes,
Are you sure when he was speaking that was referring to that period of time?
I believe so.
I'm not certain. Did you do any, well, during your investigation, was there any indication of any kind of washes that were deeper than normal in that general area?
I did not look for washes. That was a different deputy.
Did you find out whether or not that deputy discovered any washes that had some depth to them?
He discovered a wash, but it did not have depth to it.
Nothing indicating like a 6-foot drop.
No, not that I recall.
Did some of the medical records indicate some kind of back compression?
Yes.
And would that be consistent potentially with jumping out of a 2-story window?
Objection, speculation.
Oh, it's the victim's fault again. You know, she's got back injuries because she decided to jump out of a window from a 2-story building because they lived in Phoenix, Arizona before, right? Oh man, this line of questioning can be upsetting. Sarcasm said, I get the defense attorneys have a job to do, but when they speak so harshly while talking about her injuries and be able to say specific essay details with such ease, that's a whole other animal. Yeah, it can get very upsetting, and we're not to get upset, you know. I get very upset hearing all that, especially when they lean towards victim blaming. Oh man, that is just so terrible. So yeah, and I mean the story, even from the defense, the story that the two, I don't know what to call these two parents, the dad and the girlfriend have is, oh my goodness, Rebekah, look at her, she ran away, and then a neighbor found her unresponsive in a wash. But then another story is that, oh crap, yeah, we changed her clothing because, you know, she wet herself, and then we put her in the car and we were driving to get help and we were trying to call 911 the whole way. Okay, so what really happened is there's blood on tissues or Kleenex or whatever in a trash can. There's the change of clothing with what appears to be blood in it testing to come back. That is very concerning. They change her clothing, put her in the car, she's unresponsive, and then drive, I don't know how long, and put her body in a wash. And then be like, oh my goodness, she ran away, look, here she is. But like, you took her out there, right? I mean, the story just doesn't add up. Cherry said those poor kids' toenails would have been already so damaged with all that running punishment, my opinion. That as well. The dehydration, the running, the punishment, the planks, imagine how hot it is in the desert in July. I mean, what? My goodness. Okay.
I'll sustain the objection.
And was she seen by a doctor after that, jumping out of the window?
Yes,
And there are reports as to what they observed after that?
I believe so.
Are you sure?
If you're referring to the incident where she jumped out of the 2-story window,
She went to the hospital after that.
she did go to the hospital.
And the doctors made an assessment as to her condition at that time.
Yes.
In regard to your information or your understanding, when the reports were made by the Empower College Prep folks, did DCS take any action?
Not to my knowledge.
And did they just ignore it? Or did they respond saying, we did an investigation and found it unsubstantiated? Or what did you find out about that?
Some of the reports that I read were, some of them they didn't even take a report on, nor did they ever even go to the house to check on these children.
And you would agree with me, there's quite a few reports coming from Empower College Prep, right?
Yes.
And you know who Department of Child Safety, you know who they are.
I know who, yeah, DCS is, yes.
They're designed to, or their purpose is to primarily help children, right?
Yes.
And based on the information they received, whatever that was, they did not deem it necessary to either conduct an investigation or even go out and check on anything. Is that your understanding?
I guess.
Wow, I hope DCS is proud of themselves. Now the defense can use that. You know, she'd be like, oh yeah, there was nothing, it was just all unsubstantiated. Now the defense can use that to defend these monsters, these alleged monsters.
Would you characterize that as them being inept, or that they just didn't believe it was as serious as perhaps someone else was?
Objection, speculation.
I'll strike the question, sustain the objection. I also wonder about relevance. I know that defense made a motion to continue, but we are very quickly running out of time. Mr. Brewer, go ahead.
Any of the individuals at the apartment complex check for background checks?
Did I check them for backgrounds?
Did anybody check them for criminal histories, background checks,
Objection relevance.
credibility checks?
For who?
The apartment at the prior to them leaving where they lived before.
Who were the background checks on? Neighbors.
Who reported that there was problems.
All right, I will overrule the objection.
That I don't know.
And when you're determining credibility, is that something you would like to know often, whether it has any bearing or not, but it's something you'd like to know whether they have a criminal history as an officer, right?
Yeah, it's something I haven't done yet.
Do you have any evidence as to how those injuries on RB were obtained from the 12th of July up until the 27th of July? Do you have any evidence through your investigation that says how that happened?
Yes.
And what's that?
Both Woods and Baptiste admitted to hitting her with a belt. He described it as being excessive and that the belt could have wrapped around to the front of her, or from her front to her back.
And was that during this time? Did you specify that? Was that specified in the interview as to specifically when that time was where that was said?
That I do not recall.
So you're not.
I don't think the defense expected that answer. What's the evidence, huh? That it happened between July 12th and the 27th. He's like, your client said it. He said he used excessive force. Both of them used a belt. I mean, there's also cigarette burns on the victim's back. Yeah.
Not certain whether or not when that happened. You'd agree that he said that, but when that happened, you cannot be certain, correct?
Yeah.
There's no witnesses that saw anything during that period of time that would suggest that Mr. Baptiste was the instrument of those injuries from the 12th to the 27th, correct?
Yes.
Were you aware of a neighbor who had the Baptistes over during the time from, I believe it was July, maybe 9th, 10th or 11th for some kind of function and had all the kids over as well as the Mr. Baptiste and Ms. Woods? You recall that?
Down in the valley or
This was up in this area, wherever it was. I'm not sure where she lived, but
I'm not aware of that.
and that she indicated she didn't think there was anything wrong with the children apart from what she may have seen as Mr. Baptiste being perhaps a little controlling. Do you recall any of that?
Oh yeah. Okay. No, okay.
So who was that female or that neighbor? Do you recall?
And Curtis?
And did she indicate to you that when she saw all three kids, right?
Mhm.
And nothing alarmed her with regard to their condition, correct?
I would have to review Deputy Soto's report with his interview.
And do you know if she had a number of children of her own?
I do not.
Just one further question, officer or deputy, you don't recall during your investigation ever seeing $1,000 or 1,000-gallon water tank on that property that had water in it? Is that, did you not see that? Do you not recall?
I don't recall seeing that.
That's all I have, Judge.
If only the kids, it must be their fault that they were so dehydrated. There was like a well pretty far away in the desert. There was also like a water tank. I mean, what's wrong with these kids? So the defense attorney sounds right. Vonda, thank you so much. For those only joining now, because I see quite a few people only join now, welcome. What we're watching is a preliminary hearing. So this hearing was for the judge to hear the evidence. There was direct examination of this witness. And now it's cross-examination from Richard Baptiste, defense attorney. And then there will also be cross from Anicia Woods' defense attorney, and then a rebuttal, and then the judge has to make his decision on, is there enough evidence to take this case to trial? And the judge decided that there is enough evidence to take this case to trial. The two over here, Richard Baptiste and Anicia Woods, are charged with first-degree murder, child abuse, kidnapping, and molestation. Those are some serious charges. So this is going to trial. The trial date has not been set yet. This preliminary hearing, you can see the banner on top here. I've always got a banner here, right? It's happened on September 4th of 2025. And it was on September 8th that the two of them were arraigned. They both pleaded not guilty to all the charges, as would be expected. Their next hearing is on September 22nd of 2025. And as you know, these things take time, as we know, to set a trial date. I mean, the sooner the better, right? That would be great. Let's do it now. Or just freaking plead guilty. But anyway, if this goes to trial, I will let you know. I'll keep you updated on this case, right? And just remember, there is a deep dive before we started watching this preliminary hearing based on the two of them being arrested. That's when I started covering it, when I heard about what happened to Rebekah and that these two were arrested, and I saw the body cam and all of that. So that's what we're watching. Thank you so much for being here. This is not a pre-trial hearing. It's not a, it's not the trial or anything. This is just to decide, do they have enough evidence to take this to trial? And thank goodness this judge said, yeah, we definitely have enough. So we still have about half an hour left of this preliminary hearing to watch. Then I've got two clips I want to show you as well. And then we all caught up with the case for now.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lee, we've got 15 minutes the court has available. All right, great.
Okay, so it was Mr. Brewer, who was Richard Baptiste's defense attorney, first doing the cross-examination. Now it's Mr. Lee, Anicia Woods' defense attorney. These are both public defenders. This one's already withdrawn from the case now. He said he wants to tell the judge privately why, so we don't know what that is. But this one is Anicia's attorney. Now he's going to do some cross-examination, so yeah, buckle up.
Lee, go ahead. Definitely need to move that microphone over in front of you, especially if you're going to be talking at this witness. If you stand, that would be fine, but we got to make sure it's getting to the mic.
Well, I'm tired of sitting anyway. Officer Soderquist, the autopsy report isn't done yet, is that right?
That's correct.
What's the holdup?
That I'm unsure. Maricopa County just hasn't released it yet.
Okay, but would they notify you, or are you the lead officer that they'll notify when it's done?
Yes.
Let me just talk to you about the injuries that you observed on this child, RB. Did you notice that those injuries were old or fresh, or what did you see? What did you notice about her injuries?
As far as, are you asking
They were old, if they were old injuries that were partially healed, or what did it look like to you that the condition of this body when you observed it?
They were not old.
They were what?
They were not old.
Everything was new?
Yes.
Is that consistent with the witnesses that didn't notice anything unusual about marks on her fairly close to this incident?
Well, after the 12th, there was no witnesses that saw her until the 27th.
Okay. You have any idea where these injuries were committed? Any evidence of where they were committed? Where she was injured? Where?
No.
Okay. In Maricopa County, you told us a lot about some previous DCS referrals and whatnot. These people only been in Apache County 3 weeks, right?
Yes.
And so a lot of the stuff that you told us about happened in Phoenix, the running around the apartment house and all that stuff, right?
Which led into Apache County, yes.
Okay. And as far as the lack of the autopsy report, we just don't know why she died, do we?
I can't say for sure.
Okay, so you have no evidence of the cause of her death, correct?
Objection.
I'll sustain the objection.
What's the basis of the sustaining that objection?
I mean, as of right now, you're asking him to speculate where he's, or asked and answered, given the fact that he says the autopsy report is not here yet. That would be the evidence. We are in a.
Mr. Lee, you asked him if he has no evidence. There's already been evidence entered in today's hearing regarding the cause of death.
Okay,
Not a final cause.
So what is the evidence of the cause of death? What's the conclusion of the cause of death? Somebody concluded that yet?
I would have to read the doctor's reports for exact details.
Didn't they just say it's consistent with abuse and whatnot? Is that all they said?
That's not all they said, but I'd have to refer.
Did they come to a conclusion, the cause of death?
Yes.
Well, could you find the report and indicate that to us, please?
If I can review, I would need to review the report, yes.
Okay. Did you get the report? I mean, who said that? And what did they say?
As soon as I get the report, I'll be able to tell you.
Okay, you can't remember what they said the cause of death was?
Which doctor?
Any doctor?
Okay, they didn't give,
Any doctor say what the cause of death was?
I would have to review the report.
You can't remember one right now.
I can remember what the injuries being consistent of, which led to her death.
Well, my point is, if we don't know what the cause of death is, how do we know who did what caused her death? How,
I'll strike the question. Go ahead, Mr. Lee.
where did it happen? Where did the cause of death occur?
It's objection speculation.
That's my point. It's speculation.
Oh my
Your
God.
Honor, Mr. Lee, I'll sustain the objection as argumentative and ask you to move forward to questions for this witness.
Yes, argumentative. What kind of conduct is this, defense attorney? Oh my word. Fiona said he doesn't do the autopsy and then he must answer for the report, and why it isn't done yet? All of this was asked and answered already. Yes, it's his turn now because he's Anicia's attorney. So he's like, all right, Anicia is her name. Barbara North, my goodness, thank you so much for your $50 sticker. You said, I'm always so amazed at your work, Grizzly. Thank you for all you do for victims and families and your Grizzly Den. Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Barbara, for your support. I really, really appreciate it.
If I may, the complaint says this all occurred in Apache County.
This will be time for argument, Mr. Lee, and I will give you a chance to do that.
Okay, but that's why I'm asking the questions, is so I can't ask him any more about Apache County, where everything occurred.
You can ask him specific questions about facts. That you can do.
So right now, do we know where the cause of injury, the cause of death occurred? Do we know where that was? Where did that occur?
In Apache County at their residence.
What evidence you have that it occurred there?
They said she ran away and they found her unconscious and unresponsive at their residence in Apache County.
And other than the two parents, the complaint says that they each participated in that. Do you have evidence of participation in the cause of death? Not the scratches and the bruises and everything. Do you have any evidence of who caused her death?
Aside from them admitting to hitting her and it being excessive force.
Are you claiming as part of the complaint where you say child abuse, does that include a messy house? Is that part of the child abuse?
Yes, it is.
And what was there that presented danger to the children again?
The animal feces all over the floor
Okay.
and the no water, and the no power.
All right. I have nothing further.
All right.
Thank
Redirect
goodness.
Ms. Collins. Go ahead.
So let's address this idea that you talked a lot about Empower Prep and DCS. The same information you received from them based on your investigation were the same things happening here in Apache County.
Yes.
Did that include the laps and planks?
Yes, it did.
Did that include being hit with a belt and brush?
Yes, it did.
Did that include no water, no food or no water?
Yes.
You were asked to say where the abuse occurred, but based on your review and your investigation, is it your understanding that this didn't just happen one time, one moment, one day?
This has been happening for a period of time.
And so while the period of time may have started in Phoenix, Maricopa County, is it your understanding based on the investigation, all of that continued in July 5th here in Apache County?
Yes.
You were asked a lot about the cause of death and all the things. I just want to show you what's been marked. This is State's Exhibit 96. It's page 37 from the entire document. We actually had this at the previous hearing. So you were asked about what caused her death. I would like you to look at this, and this is from Dr. Holder, is it?
Yes.
Not? Okay, so I'm just like understand the concept of
See, sometimes that's how the sound goes when they walk away from the mic.
serious physical injury and death. Can you just list down what Dr. Molitor put as his diagnosis?
Yes. So cerebral edema, diffuse traumatic brain injury with loss of consciousness of unspecified duration, I don't know how to pronounce this one. Transminitis, traumatic
Alopecia?
alopecia of abdominal wall, traumatic.
Judge, I'm going to object. I mean, what is the purpose of this? The prosecutor is basically reading the document. I mean, it's already been admitted, I assume, and so the court can review it.
Based on both cross-examinations, the cause of death has been questioned. I'm laying out the foundation that there are causes of death.
I'll overrule the objection.
Continue. So continue after multiple abrasions.
So acute kidney injury, acute lactic acidosis, traumatic subdural hemorrhage with loss of consciousness of 30 minutes or less, wedge compression fracture of unspecified thoracic vertebrae, pulmonary contusion, respiratory failure, hypercapnia, potassium, unspecified kidney failure, high serum sodium, and child physical abuse, suspected initial encounter.
Based on the investigation.
No, there's many.
I'm going to hit this briefly. You were asked about the Brady. Based on your understanding, was all of that by the end of that document unsubstantiated?
Yes, it was.
And as you sit here today, you believe you were cleared?
Yes, it was.
You were asked about KB2 and the fact that he never brought up a food or water issue. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 62. And we actually talked about it earlier. It's the November 16th, 2024.
Yes, he states there's no food at home and that mom and dad make him do planks for his punishment.
So he did share with law enforcement previously that this was happening.
Yes.
Okay, I want to address the scene exams. So I've already shown these to defense. Your Honor, I'd move to admit State's Exhibit 57, 58, 59. They've already been reviewed by.
Any objections?
No, sir.
The court will admit State's Exhibits 57, 58, and 59. And this is of 50.
57. So
Thank you.
which exam is this? Which child?
RB.
So let me ask you this. In your experience, was there 2 exams done in this case?
Yes, there was.
So going to the second one, was the first one done by the hospital doctor before?
Yes.
So it's on page 7. Just give me 4, 5, and 6.
I don't know how to pronounce that, but
Oh, just go with this brief.
okay. Bruising to mom's pubis, bruising to labia on the right side, and purplish bruising to I can't read. Bilateral inquired regions or inguinal regions. Sorry.
Okay, so and that is RB's.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna take just State's Exhibit 58.
The pelvis, upper extremities, lower extremities, the back and buttocks, and the external genital area. The mons pubis, the penis, red bruising with petechiae to, I can't read that, suprapubic area, red bruising to the pubic area, bruising to upper buttock, bilateral, red bruising over shaft of penis, red bruising extent to lateral shaft of penis bilaterally.
You were asked about, and Judge, I'll be really quick, maybe just 5. You were asked about the overall conditions of the house and what could have led to the abuse of the boys. Do you recall those questions?
Yes.
Can you also describe the time of year this occurred?
In the summertime?
So July 5th to July 27th?
Yes.
What kind of temperatures up here?
High 80s.
Do you work up here?
Yes, I do.
Are you aware of the temperature on the given day?
Yes, I am.
So in your position, based on the overall living conditions, would they have also continued to affect the two boys?
Yes.
Speculation.
I'll overrule the objection, allow the answer.
You were asked about the DNA swabs in sort of multiple fashions. Based on the same exams they're going to the court, were swabs taken for all three children?
Yes, they were.
You were asked about how, if your consideration or your experience with a bed for Rebekah, but was it your testimony earlier? Why was she sleeping on the floor?
Because she was in trouble.
You were asked about the damages that were done to Rebekah RB and why parents would take her to get help. Now, that's speculation, but can I ask you, what I would like to ask you is, based on your review of these injuries, no, I'm not gonna, that's gonna speculate. You were asked about KB1 and KB2 not talking about screaming or hearing anything. Is it your view over the investigation that both KB1 and KB2 on multiple occasions told DCS and or Empower their parents told them they couldn't talk about things?
Yes.
And that has happened over the last course of several months.
Yes, it has.
And that included KB2 on July. Did that include KB2 on July 27th?
Yes, it did.
So when they say RB, it's Rebekah Baptiste, the victim in this case, 10 years old, when she died on July 30th of 2025. She was found unresponsive in a dry riverbed, a wash, on July 27th, 2025, after her father's girlfriend called 911 3 times to say, oh my goodness, she'd run away. Look where we found, well, a neighbor found her here. Meanwhile, they drove out there, changed her clothing beforehand. Oh, okay then. So when they're referring to the other initials, it's her brothers. She's got 2 brothers who are apparently now in foster care.
I want to clarify, because you mentioned medical records for when she got jumped out of the apartment complex. Your review of everything, we have 2 sets of documents from PCH. To clarify, is one from July 27th and one from October 2024?
Yes.
And so were you perhaps crossed up when asked about her jumping out of the apartment, and could those documents have been from when she went to the QT?
Yes.
Do you have any documents that I've put in front of you that are from Phoenix Children's from when she jumped out of the apartment?
No.
You were asked about Anne, not giving any indication, or any neighbors, about their concern at the time. Is there any indication that any of them saw them swimming or without their clothes on?
No.
And while none of them gave concerns prior, is there anything a part of the investigation where now looking back, they do have concerns?
Yes.
And what is that, based on what you've seen in the investigation?
As far as the neighbors,
Yes.
that all of the injuries were hidden underneath clothing, and the children never said anything because they were told not to talk about it.
You were asked about other witnesses that could have seen this between the 12th and the 27th. Besides the 2 witnesses in courtroom today, Baptiste and Woods, do you have any indication that there was anyone else there who could have been witnesses besides the 2 boys and RB?
No.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 32. You were asked a lot of questions about how little Baptiste may or may not have done this. Do you recall those questions?
Yes, I do.
You were asked sort of who did more. If reviewing the 3rd paragraph, I'd like you to look that over, and if you, well, let me ask you this. Do you recall the specific details that Baptiste told the detectives?
I can't hear the question very well, Judge.
Do you remember all the specific details that were told by Baptiste to the Navajo County detectives about how often he did this and how hard?
Not how often, but yes, how hard.
So if you review this, looking at paragraph 3, if you could look at that, and then I will ask the question.
There's no object beyond the scope of cross.
All right, I'll overrule the objection, allow the question.
Did he indicate how often he would strike her?
Whenever she got in trouble, yes.
When he did that, how many times?
He would start with a warning, and then he would deliver 5 to 10 strikes.
And when he would strike, did he describe what the pain level he was aiming for?
7 out of 10.
And did he give any acknowledgement to the detectives at that point that how hard he was hitting?
Yes, he acknowledged that he could have been hitting, or that he was hitting harder than intended, and that those could have caused the bruises.
And did he also indicate where he hit her with the belt?
Yes, on her butt.
Did he give any indication of how it may have gone to other parts of her body?
He stated it could have wrapped around to the front of her stomach.
During this time, did he explain, so based on his testimony or his statement to the detectives and your understanding of it, is it his explanation that the belt went all over the place because it would swing around her body?
Yes.
All over the place is not specific.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that, Mr. Brewer.
All over the place unless he said those specific words.
I'll allow the question and the answer.
You can answer it.
Yes.
Is that okay? Judge, if I could have just one moment.
Yes.
I have not yet moved to admit State 62 and 71, which are the DCS records, and the Empower records. I would move to admit those.
Any objections to States Exhibit 62 or 71? All right, I'll note the objection, but the court will admit for the purposes of this hearing, States Exhibit 62 and 71.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, and Ms. Collins, no further witnesses for today, correct? You can step down. Deputy.
And as he's our case agent, he can stay.
Yes.
Or do this, or just go back to
Is
the
this
32.
32? I don't remember if this was admitted or not. I don't
32
think
was
so.
not admitted.
I'll
That was
return
just-
that to you when you have a chance. Clerk,
And
would
for
that-
clarification, the DCS intake, and we can check with the clerk, is 72, not 71.
The one that you wanted me to just admit,
Yes, Judge.
I apologize. With that clarification, it was 72, just to make sure there's no objections to that one other than the objection you made previously, Mr. Brewer. So I am not admitting 71, I am admitting 72.
Correct, Judge.
We'll first address, because it's first on my list, CR 2025-177 regarding Richard Daniel Baptiste. The court will find probable cause does exist as to count 1. Court will find probable.
Thank goodness. Look at Richard Baptiste's face here. And here's Anicia Woods. They were probably hoping that there's not enough evidence to take this to trial, but it sounds like there's plenty already. So they've been charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, child abuse, and 1 count for each child, and molestation. Those are hectic charges. I think, yeah, they in the police interviews, they asked Anicia, what do you think would happen to someone if they abused a child this way? And she's like, maybe they'll get some jail time. Like, in complete denial of the consequences of something like this, right? Donna said, thank you for covering this tragic case, G. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stefan, for also reminding me to spell Rebekah's name right. In the banner, it was spelled a little bit wrong first. It's Rebekah. So I've corrected that now. Sorry about that. Rebekah Baptiste, 10 years old when she died after prolonged abuse, torture, sexual abuse, all of that. Those are the allegations. That's what the evidence shows. She died on July 30th of 2025, and she tried to run away so many times, even jumping out of a 2-story apartment to try to get out. I'm sure she would have been motivated to also try to save her brothers. It must have been so scary for her, right? And she died from all these injuries.
Probable cause does exist as to count 2. Court will find probable cause does exist as to count 3. We'll find probable cause as to count 4. And just note, I believe it's a typographic error on count 5. The last reference to KB2 references a female, but KB2 is a male, correct?
Thank you for, yes, we will correct that or have the court correct it.
The court will find probable cause exists as to count 5. I guess I will address that one first with Mr. Brewer. Mr. Brewer, does your client have any offer of proof?
No.
All right. I will then address CR 2025-178, State of Arizona versus Anicia Woods. The court will find probable cause exists as to count 1. Court will find probable cause does exist as to count 2. The heading in count 2 lists aggravated assault.
That's a wrong complaint, Judge, I believe.
I have amended complaint 3rd listed, but I think all of the, yes, the factual basis is from child abuse, but the heading on the copy I received this morning lists aggravated assault. All right. Under the rules, I will amend the complaint just for the typographic errors as to count 2 in the 178 matter. The statutory reference, the name reference of aggravated assault. I believe the felony level as well as dangerous crime against children in the 1st degree allegation contained in that heading are still correct. But I am finding probable cause as to count 2 on child abuse. And will order that that correction be made. As to count 3, court will find that probable cause does exist. As to count 4, court will find probable cause does exist. And as to count 5, the court will find probable cause does exist. Mr. Lee, on behalf of your client, any offer of proof for today?
No, sir.
All right. We need then to set an arraignment date. Mr. Lee, Mr. Brewer, when would you like arraignment set?
We could do it the 8th, Judge.
All right. And Ms. Collins, does that work?
And they did do it on the 8th.
Monday,
This was on the 4th.
September the 8th, and Mr. Brewer would be at 1:30 p.m.
Yes, 1:30, Your Honor,
Yes.
with leave to be on Teams, yes.
And Ms. Clace, will that work for you as well? Absolutely. All the parties in council may appear on our Zoom link that date. Because of the congestion, we may need to limit the Zoom like we did today to only parties, but we'll allow those appearances. So in Mr. Baptiste matter 25177, setting arraignment for Monday, September the 8th at 1:30 p.m. Mr. Lee, regarding your client and an arraignment date.
The 8th is my regular day anyway, Judge, so.
Do the morning calendar that day.
8:30 calendar.
Because they are set separately and the court already has those set up, I would like to set Miss Woods' arraignment also September the 8th at 8:30. For all those present here, we're saying 1:30. The court doesn't go on the calendar until 2 o'clock and the 8:30 doesn't.
We have 2 minutes. I wanted you to hear them set the dates and everything. Then I'm going to show you a clip from that as well and a clip from when the neighbors say something.
Count start until 9 o'clock. With Zoom appearances, will that date work, Ms. Collins?
Yes, or it will be Conrad, yes.
All right. And Ms. Clace?
Both the 8:30 and the 2. Yes.
Thank you. So in 25178, arraignment is set Monday, September the 8th at 8:30 a.m. with the court going on the record at 9 o'clock or as soon thereafter as possible. I will direct the correction of the heading in count 2 on the 178 matter. I believe the reference just to the gender of the victim in count 5 on both cases, and direct the state to file a copy of the information with those counts. Mr. Lee, excuse me, on behalf of Ms. Wood, anything that you would like to address today?
No, sir.
Mr. Brewer, anything additional from you?
Judge, I filed a motion for investigative fees on or about August 18th. There haven't been any responses. I had asked the court to grant it. We need an investigation to be able to go forward to do some additional searching.
All right, thank you. I can't tell you right now if I reviewed that or not, but I will ask staff to make sure that's put in front of me to review and rule on as soon as possible.
Just the glasses issue, Judge. Other than that, I don't have to see that.
What was the last?
The glasses issue.
Thank you. I think the order of the court will continue to stand there if we can get whatever assistance or decisions made there. Ms. Collins, anything additional that you need to address for today?
Will the court potentially rule on the motion and objections of joinder, or will we have a hearing on that?
I haven't reviewed them, so I don't know right now if I believe we need a hearing. I don't recall. I don't even know if the parties asked for one, but if I believe we need one, I would set it. If I believe I can go forward without that, I would rule by an order.
Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it. Other than that, Judge, nothing else.
Thank you. Ms. Clace, anything that you need to address today? All right. Thank you all very much. Appreciate the assistance of all those who made this possible today. We will be adjourned in these matters.
And so.
Okay, so that's it for the preliminary hearing. So the judge decided there was enough evidence to take this to trial. Thank goodness, right? Maya said verified. Can we see the judge, or he's not shown? He wasn't shown. Otherwise, of course, I wouldn't have put a picture over him. I would have shown him, right? So he wasn't shown throughout that. Okay, so let's have a look at this clip here quickly, which was about the arraignment. So the judge decided, yes, this can go forward now. The case we're going to take this to trial, which means the two defendants, Rebekah Baptiste and Anicia Woods, were formally arraigned, meaning they had to enter a plea. They were told what their charges are, which is first-degree murder and child abuse, kidnapping, molestation. And then they had to enter a guilty or not guilty plea. Both of them pleaded not guilty. And so the next court date is September 22nd, and the state has indicated that they want to keep them together. They want to try them together. So I think that's what that hearing is about. I'll keep you posted as well as we are following this case, right? Okay, so let's quickly have a look at this clip here.
The suspects accused of killing 10-year-old Rebekah Baptiste appeared in court today. They were formally arraigned on a long list of charges. One of the suspects, Rebekah's own father. Investigators say that he and his girlfriend tortured and abused the young girl for years until she eventually died.
12 News journalist Bianca Bono has been following this story and is joining us now in studio. And Bianca, what happened in court?
Well, in addition to both of these suspects being formally arraigned on that long list of charges, the attorney for Rebekah Baptiste says he now wants off the case.
We'd enter a plea of not guilty.
Rebekah Baptiste and Anicia Woods pleading not guilty, charged with murdering 10-year-old Rebekah Baptiste as well as child abuse and molestation.
We'd waive a reading of all the charges, enter a plea of not guilty to all the charges, enter denial to any of the allegations.
12 News obtaining audio from the court hearings on Monday as the couple was formally arraigned on their charges in Apache County. A Superior Court judge ruled there was enough probable cause for the case to move forward.
The court will find probable cause does exist.
According to staff at Rebekah Baptiste School in Phoenix, there were signs that she and her siblings were being abused and neglected for the past year, and several reports were made to the Department of Child Safety raising red flags. DCS says the final report came in May of this year. But during the course of the state's investigation, Rebekah Baptiste and Anicia Woods moved the family to rural.
Just look at it. I have to pause there. Just look. This is the yurt, apparently, where they lived. But with Rebekah trying to run away, just look at the terrain she has to navigate. It's like it's desert. They're very isolated. They said there were maybe 4 houses somewhere around there. But shame. She tried to run away. They'd only been living there for about 3 weeks. Before that, it was Phoenix, Arizona, right? So July 9th, she ran away from the yurt. And then on the 12th, she ran away as well. And there was a Facebook group that was formed. And people in this area, the community, they were very worried about her. And were looking for her. And apparently there she returned back to the yurt herself. And then on the 27th, there was no report of her running away, even though her dad and his girlfriend say, no, she did. She ran away. That's how she ended up in the wash. But no, they apparently drove her out to where her body was. And then they may have, it seems like that's what the evidence shows, that they put her in the wash because they changed her, which is a dry riverbed, right? They changed her clothing and all of that. So, but look at it. Shame. I mean, she'd already tried to run away quite a few times, a number of times from the Phoenix, Arizona apartment. She loved school. That's what her teacher said. She loved school. She loved mathematics. She wrote poetry. If you want to hear her poem, I read it to you in part 1, the deep dive of this case before we watch this today. But just look at it.
Apache County, living in this yurt-style tent. In late July, Rebekah was found unresponsive with injuries all over her body. She died 3 days later. Authorities say Richard Baptiste admitted to using excessive force when hitting his daughter with a belt.
What do you make of your client's own admissions according to the police report?
Not helpful, but it is what it is. We have to deal with that.
That was Richard Baptiste's attorney just last week.
Using a belt in the old days was probably more customary than it is today. Maybe not to that level, but again, that's what he did, and that's what we have to work with.
But now he says he wants to withdraw from the case.
I need to advise the court upon review of recent discovery, there is an issue that's arisen that's requiring my withdrawal.
And that attorney asked the judge if he could give a further explanation as to why he was withdrawing in private. So it remains unclear exactly why he wants off this case. Woods and Baptiste are due back in court later this month.
September 22nd, right? Oh my. Okay, I will link all of these clips for you in case you want to check it out again. Now I've got one more which says neighbors shed light on Rebekah Baptiste's final week. So let's look at this clip as well.
Rebekah Baptiste was killed, died about a month ago. Now her father and her father's girlfriend, his father's girlfriend, will be in court for the first time. We are hearing from neighbors as well tonight.
The suspects, as John mentioned, her father and his girlfriend, in this case, told police what happened the day Rebekah died. But in an exclusive interview tonight, a neighbor tells a much different story. Fox 10's Kenzie Beach reports.
It was here in remote Apache County where a 10-year-old Rebekah Baptiste spent the weeks leading up to her death. Her father, Richard Baptiste, and his girlfriend, Anicia Woods, facing first-degree murder charges. The family moving to this yurt-style home, moving from Phoenix to the desolate, remote area 8 miles down a dirt road. Off Highway 180 in northeast Arizona. River Meadows Ranch spans across a remote and isolated 28,000 acres. After 10 years and 12 reports made to the Department of Child Safety, it's where the Baptiste family moved their 3 children and where neighbors saw 10-year-old Rebekah alive for the last time.
You don't do this. There's too many wild animals out here, that will kill you. They will hurt you.
Amongst the barren desert is a tight-knit community. We sat down with Mary Stanley, who headed a search party for Rebekah the first 2 times she ran away.
Because I knew this was the second time. I says, if you feel you need to get away, don't run away out here. I says, anyway, but that's when I offered to come pick her up.
But that was the last time Mary ever saw Rebekah.
Quiet, scared, tiny.
Mary's son Andrew found Rebekah that day on his quad and brought her home, but something seemed off.
That little girl just needed, he said, I had no water with me. He says, she climbed right up on the quad with me like she knew me. And he says, of course, I took her home. And they rushed her in the house at the time. He says, it just didn't seem right. They didn't give her no water or nothing.
3 weeks later, Rebekah died after being flown to Phoenix Children's Hospital. Her injuries so gruesome with bruises from head to toe.
Sorry to pause there. Just look at her picture. I don't want you to miss it. A shame, man. She was so happy at school, and doing well there.
Doctors describing what the little girl endured as torture. In body camera video, Richard Baptiste and Anicia Woods tell officers a neighbor on a quad found Rebekah unresponsive that day. But for those that live in River Meadows Ranch, that was not the truth. Instead, Rebekah hadn't been seen by neighbors for weeks.
I didn't hear that until the district attorney called my son. Nobody picked her up on a quad the 3rd time. Nobody. There was no call out for search. There was no call out for nothing.
Following Richard Baptiste's arrest, he admitted the young girl was looking for help the time she ran away. Richard stating he didn't deserve to be a parent and at times had hit Rebekah too hard.
If I'd even thought, I'd have called the sheriff. And right now, to be honest, if I could get my hands on them, both of them, they wouldn't walk off that property. They really wouldn't.
Yeah. I think we all know what she's saying, right? I'm sure we all feel angry like that. This is absolutely terrible. Okay, sorry to bump the mic. Thank you so much for being here today to watch that with me. There are, of course, lots of other interview clips and little snippets and news things and everything. If you want to check it out, if you want to research Rebekah's case, I'm glad we could watch the preliminary hearing today together. Welcome, Buddy Hembry. Even as difficult as it was, it's a really terrible, sad case. So much suffering that Rebekah endured. It's really sad. So thank you for being here with me so we could watch it as a community and follow this road to justice for Rebekah Baptiste. So the next time that her father and his girlfriend are in court are September 22nd of 2025. They want to keep their trials together. Trial date has not been set yet. I will definitely keep you posted. Yeah, Kathleen said she's a Grizzly for sure, right? Oh, she was speaking fluent Grizzly over there, that neighbor. I think we all wish we could you just put us in a room with them for a little bit, hey? It's okay, we'll just talk to them. It's just disgusting what they are accused of doing and the injuries that Rebekah had. Grizzly Cat says, thank you. Thank you, Grizzly Cat. Thank you, everyone. Make sure your like button works. I know that it's not about liking the topic, by the way. I know it can be difficult to hit the like button when the topic is like this. It's just so that other people can see the information. You're telling YouTube, yes, we watched this. Maybe you like the way I cover true crime or whatever it is. And then it will help people learn more about this case so they can follow with us if this trial will ever be streamed or not, or whatever the outcome will be. I hope the outcome is full justice for Rebekah, and I hope her brothers are okay, because they're apparently now in foster care. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Stay safe, and I'll see you again very soon. If you didn't see the deep dive part 1, go check it out now. Bye, everyone.